While others could only fuse with a single monster, I could fuse with 9.99 million. Moreover, the first monster I fused with was Godzilla, possessing a king's bloodline. Yet, even after awakening such a top-tier talent, I was mocked by everyone as a good-for-nothing. This was only because the world's evaluation system was too primitive to comprehend my terrifying potential. At that moment, as a reincarnator, I abruptly opened my eyes. Before I could get a clear view of my surroundings, a stream of unknown information flooded into my mind. It turned out this was a high martial world called Blue Star, a world frequently invaded by terrifying monsters through secret realms. These terrifying magical beasts had already destroyed several nations. Through a long struggle, humanity developed a magical beast gene system. By injecting magical beast genes, one had a chance to unlock a genetic talent and become a martial artist, which was the only way to save human civilization. Thus, the entire Blue Star entered an era where martial prowess stands above all. It turns out that the protagonist I transmigrated into is named Ihi, currently a prospective martial artist about to take his college entrance exams. His parents had an accident during his second year of high school, which caused the original host to lose all motivation for cultivation and studies, making him the bottom-ranked student in his class. Just as I was pondering what to do next, the balding head teacher strode onto the podium. "Students, are you ready? We are about to begin injecting the genetic modification serum. Please have confidence in yourselves. Your 3 years of hard work, strengthening your bodies and cultivating martial energy have all been for this day." After his instructions, the head teacher led us to the gene injection hall. On the tables in the hall were several metal cases containing the gene awakening serum. This serum contained the original genes of all the magical beasts ever recorded by human martial artists. After injection, one would absorb one of these genes to awaken. Generally, the stronger the physique, the stronger the magical beast gene awakened. The students in the class began their injections one by one. After the injection, steam rose from their skin, and they all howled in agony. Shortly after, I plunged the needle into my body, but after waiting for a long time, I found there was no expected pain, not even the slightest change. Just then, Huang Tong, who had already completed her awakening, walked over gloating, "Look everyone, it seems he didn't awaken anything. You can just go home and wait to die." Suddenly, my heart suddenly began to beat violently, and an interface appeared in my mind. I had acquired the infinite monster template. As the prompt sounded, my heartbeat reached its absolute limit. A flash of deep blue light flickered in my eyes, and an irrepressible roar with an overwhelming aura erupted from within me. Students nearby had gotten knocked down, and those far away were able to notice a stronger presence than themselves. This was the A-rank template, Godzilla. However, this currently only had a 3% compatibility. Huang Tong, being the closest, foamed at the mouth and fainted. As the pressure vanished, I found the other students on their knees for me, but I could only apologize for making a scene. Just then, a broadcast announcement sounded, requiring all awakened third-year high school students to proceed to the testing building to test their awakened magical beast genes and martial arts level. By stepping inside the gene breakthrough detection device, all the necessary information would be displayed. There was Li Xinyuan with a third-tier magical beast bloodline, Swift Spine Bug, Chu Zhou with the top-tier bloodline, Ice Elemental Dragon, and as well as being a level 9 martial apprentice. Lu Qingzhu, another level 9 martial apprentice, had a stage 4 bloodline, the Nether Sparrow. However, I was curious as to why their awakened monster templates were classified by tiers like 3rd and 4th, unlike mine which was considered A-class. Soon, it was my turn for the bloodline assessment. Everyone looked at me as if I were an idol, providing me a clear path to the machine. After all, in this world, strength was everything. I had displayed terrifying potential, naturally earning everyone's respect. The crowd hyped up my assessment, which Chu Zhou had taken notice of. Soon, my information appeared on the big screen, but to everyone's surprise, it only showed basic information. So he's only a level 3 martial apprentice. Even my little brother could beat him up. Others pointed out that my unknown bloodline meant I had none at all, and the popularity I had gained had immediately disappeared. However, this was all within my expectations. Godzilla wasn't detected, but it did trigger a prompt from the infinite monster template. Although my template's level was different from theirs, it meant that as long as I met the conditions, I could draw monster templates an infinite number of times. Since this is the case, then I can become the king of monsters. Afterward, I found my head teacher and asked for a leave of absence, stating that I wanted to participate in special training and would return before the college entrance exam. The head teacher sighed and approved my leave. "I know you've awakened a bloodline, but your foundation is too weak, making it difficult to pass the exam. But don't be anxious, you can always repeat a year and try again next year." After sincerely thanking the head teacher, I left the school and headed for the Anqing Martial Artist Center. On the way, I withdrew the 600,000 my parents left me, and adding the 1 million from their accident compensation, I now had a considerable amount of starting capital. Currently, I had 2 options to increase my strength. One was to raise my martial artist level, and the other was to increase Godzilla's template compatibility. According to the information from the infinite monster template, each template initially had only 1 point of compatibility, but Godzilla had 3 points already. It meant that Godzilla had absorbed the potency of the gene awakening serum, providing 2 points of compatibility ability. This meant that the gene science serums in this world could enhance my template abilities. Rather than training to death, I can just spend money to improve effortlessly. After swiping my student ID, I entered the Martial Artist Center. Since installing Godzilla's template, I also gained a unique sensory ability, a life magnetic field, allowing me to clearly feel the roaring energy in blood and the beastly howls within the bloodlines of the martial artists around me, burning like furnaces. This enhanced my fighting spirit. After all, the legendary Godzilla was destined to conquer all life as the king of monsters. Just then, a hand rested on my shoulder. "Young man, don't casually peek at others." "I'm sorry, miss. I didn't mean to. I'm here to buy genetic medicine, but this place is too big, and I can't find it. Can you point me in the right direction?" She lectured me about how much a potion would cost, which greatly surprised me. However, she also gave me a business card so I could get a discount. After thanking her, I followed her directions to the Martial Artist Hospital, where I spent $1,450,000 on 4 gene potions. With the remaining money, I bought some basic equipment and weapons. After returning home, I eagerly began injecting the potions. The pale blue liquid was pushed into my body, flowing through my blood to every limb. Godzilla's compatibility increased from 3% to 7%, and my constitution rose from the original 8 to 15. Leveling up feels amazing. However, there was diminishing returns with each shot of the potion. The stronger my body gets, the harder it is to enhance, but it was still good. In just a few minutes, I had achieved what would take others 3 years of hard cultivation. It's like I activated cheat mode. Time quickly passed to the next day. I packed up and set off for a pre-selected Secret Realm Rift. Secret Realm Rifts were divided into 6 levels, from S to E, with higher levels containing more powerful magical beasts. I entered the Anching number 3 E-rank Secret Realm. There were fewer people here than I expected, perhaps because the Secret Realm had been open for a long time. After completing the procedures, I arrived at the entrance Secret Realm Rift. "This is the beginning of my rise to become the king of monsters." Saying this, I jumped right into the rift. After arriving, I looked up at the sky and saw 3 incredibly huge planets hanging in the sky. Although I had learned about the appearance of secret realms from textbooks, it couldn't compare to seeing it in person. Just then, a creature quietly approached from the grass behind me. It was a first-tier magical beast, the Bladefang Rabbit. The Bladefang Rabbit lunged at me at great speeds. However, I simply dodged sideways and grabbed its head. "Did you think I couldn't sense you with my life magnetic field?" Then finally, I crushed it with a squish. After the Bladefang Rabbit died, only a white magic core was left behind. Its common quality, worth about 1,000 yuan at most. However, collecting too many first-tier magical beast cores was also pointless. It would be best to find second-tier or higher magical beasts. As soon as I had that thought, a second-tier magical beast, a demon corpse bug, suddenly burst from the ground. Speak of the devil, I chuckled as I drew my weapon. In a flash, I slashed a large gash in its abdomen. Compared to the steel-like carapace on its back, the soft armor on the demon corpse bug's abdomen was clearly easier to penetrate. The demon corpse bug charged at me as a spiky curled ball. I immediately channeled my martial arts and unleashed Hyper Beam, stopping the demon corpse bug in its tracks. Then it flung 2 scythe-like fangs at me. I barely dodged the projectiles and immediately created distance. After all, without powerful martial arts to assist me, I couldn't handle this bug at my current martial artist level. I have to use my cheat. Legendary Godzilla Bloodline, activate. The next moment, my skin turned a deep blue, my pupils shone like sapphires, and a layer of hard scales covered my arms. The empowerment had reached all the way to 21 points. In an instant, I was right at the demon corpse bug's head. Slashing and flashing from the inside, I pierced all the way through the creature. In mere moments, I completely crushed the second-tier demon corpse bug. I deactivated the Godzilla form, but my body began to vent the excess heat, surrounding me with a large amount of steam. Looking at the demon corpse bug's green magic core, I suddenly had the idea to swallow it. Feeling a primal urge from my body, I didn't hesitate and swallowed the magic core in one gulp. The magic core was then absorbed into my body, and surprisingly, Godzilla's compatibility had increased by 0.3%. Seeing this, I was overjoyed. A gene potion that cost hundreds of thousands only increased my compatibility by 1%, while a second-tier magical beast's core could provide 0.3%. 3 or 4 of them were equivalent to 1 potion. Damn it, I wasted money on those potions. Turning my grief into motivation, I decided to hunt all night. Utilizing the life magnetic field, I located more of the magical beasts. Time quickly passed to noon the next day. I walked out of the number 3 secret realm with a sack full of magic cores. After my compatibility reached 9%, swallowing white magic cores provided very little increase, so it was better to sell them for money. In total, there were 20 white magic cores and 4 green ones. After selling them all, I got nearly 200,000 credits. Currently, in Anqing City's number 4 D-rank secret realm, a group of martial artists was preparing to embark on a mission, but due to lacking 1 member, they had to hire someone from the agency. The team leader, Lin He, introduced me. "You're the level 9 martial apprentice, Dadzilla." I couldn't enter a D-class secret realm as a student, so I had an illegal agency to create a fake identity for me. Dadzilla is a weird name to have. Anyway, as a level 9 martial apprentice, you're indeed not qualified to enter a D-rank secret realm. Our team can give you a chance to observe and learn, but you must not hold us back. After the 6-person team was ready, they got into an off-road vehicle and drove straight into the secret realm rift. This time, after entering the secret realm, what appeared before them was a boundless desert. The bounty mission Lenny and his team had accepted was to find a secret realm plant called the Blood Jade Flower. This was their second time entering this secret realm. Last time, they had successfully located the general area of the Blood Jade Flower, which was guarded by a second-tier, general-level magical beast. Just then, a pack of earth demon rats appeared to chase their vehicle. However, Hood was there to easily take care of them, throwing multiple daggers infused with martial energy towards the chasers, hitting accurately at the heads of the magical beasts. The martial energy exploded on impact as the vehicle continued to drive away. Soon after, the vehicle stopped near an oasis in the desert. The Blood Jade Flower Len he was looking for was in the oasis. Because the monsters in the oasis were very sensitive, the engine sound of the off-road vehicle would surely be detected, so everyone got out and proceeded on foot. As the team leader, Lin he began assigning tasks. Xiao Xia, in a bit, you'll set off a flashbang to lure that beast out. Xiao Wu, Hood, you set up traps. Old Lu, provide suppressive fire. I'll handle the frontal assault. Dadzilla, you can just watch for now. After the assignments were given, everyone began to act. A flashbang soared into the air, releasing a thunderous boom and a pheromone mixed with a high-level magical beast scent. Before long, the second-tier magical beast, the Earth Dragon, emerged from deep underground. After a well-executed plan, Linny was able to cut off the Earth Dragon's head. It fell to the ground as the members gathered together. Let's keep moving forward. Just then, the arm of the dragon loomed over Linny. Fortunately, I had been on guard and reacted instantly, delivering a full-powered hyper beam that completely finished off the Earth Dragon. Everyone was shocked that a mere martial apprentice like me had the power to shake a second-tier magical beast. This strength earned their recognition, and they no longer saw me as a burden but as a comrade. Soon, we found the mission's target in the center of the oasis lake, a blood jade fruit. In addition to the fruit, we also managed to harvest the Earth Dragon's magic core. Just as Linny was overjoyed, a sudden change occurred. A team member, Hood, launched a surprise attack with a poison dagger, stabbing him in the abdomen. Hood, what are you doing? Then, a tough-looking bald man appeared. The bald man's name was Huapeng. He specialized in robbing martial artists of their spoils from secret realm explorations. Linny clutched his abdomen. How did you know about this place? Huapeng. However, I deduced that the daggers from before had the necessary information. Hood didn't waste words. He threw a dart first, aiming right at me. I grinned, the fighting spirit in my eyes blazing like a beacon. It seems like I need to take out the trash. Just then, Hood unleashed a barrage of daggers towards me. However, I easily blocked the attack with a great roar. Hood took the opportunity to close in, spinning in midair. Perfect chance to try out my new skill. From the tips of my finger, a beam pierced through Hood's heart. Hood's mangled body fell to the ground. A gene technique? Which bloodline are you from? I'm from the Godzilla clan. Are you going to kneel and beg for mercy? Even with gene techniques, you can't close this massive martial gap. Bloodline activation. Violent Dreadbear. Huapeng grew massive in size, like the Dreadbear itself. Unleashing the martial technique, Peak Shaker. In a flash, I ducked and my fingers once again shot a beam at Huapeng's least defended ankle. But still, his arms sweeping like great pendulums as I dodged this attack. However, his pursuit was relentless, and his giant hands came together again, aiming to crush me. Clapping together, the force was enough to send shockwaves. Are you done? Because it's my turn now. With the core fused, mountain crushing fist technique, my fists were coated in blue martial energy. As a barrage of blue fists crashed into the bear-like Huapeng. Before long, he reverted back into human form, beaten into a bloody pulp. You even have a gene technique with poisonous gas. How despicable. A wicked martial artist like you will surely be punished. I curse you. More and more people keep cursing me. Who do you even think you are? 9 days passed in a flash. Today, the National College Entrance Exam had finally begun. Hello, students. This year's General Higher Martial Arts School enrollment is about to begin. I would first like to wish you all great martial fortune. The college entrance exam will use a tournament system. Students will compete against each other in pairs on the arenas, and the winner will advance to the next round. The exam will last for 3 days. The first 2 days are for the selection rounds, and only students who advance will participate on the 3rd day. Each student must fight 3 matches in the selection rounds. Students who enter the promotion rounds will continue to compete until this year's top scholar is chosen. You carry the future of humanity on your shoulders. For yourselves, and for humanity, please show your strength in the college entrance exam. I declare the Anqing City College entrance exam officially open. As his words fell, many candidates began to ascend the arenas. One after another started to fight one another. On arena number 6, the contestants were me and Huang Tongtong. However, I had not yet arrived. The Gene Assembly was the greatest humiliation of my life. I was thinking my raging fire lizard could properly humiliate Ihi, but that piece of trash is too scared to even show up. How boring. At the same time, gossip started in the crowd that I was a coward shivering in bed. However, as the referee was about to disqualify me, the martial artists in the arena sensed an incoming presence. Like a smoking blue meteorite, I was flying through the sky, descending towards the arena. What the hell is was going on. In an instant, my foot was inches away from Huang Tong Tong, and I had kicked her out of bounds with great force. That was close. I almost needed to come back next year. The crowd cheered for my show of strength, but I was reveling at my newly attained 20% compatibility and 226 points in overall fitness. Lin had given me the blood jade fruit as a thanks, and I had naturally absorbed it. After easily defeating Huang Tong Tong, I continued to fight 2 more rounds against others, winning all 3 matches. Each victory was secured with a single kick. Unsurprisingly, I successfully entered the promotion rounds. Many recruiters came up to me. However, I confidently declared that I wanted to enter Imperial University. They finally dismissed me, but it was because they did not believe that I could do it. After noticing my performance, several examiners approached me. "Student Yi, please cooperate with us. We need to retest your martial artist level now. Level 9 martial apprentice." "Student Yi, you were only a level 3 martial apprentice half a month ago. We even discovered you had frequented an E-rank secret realms. Why would you do such a thing?" Hearing this, I spun a wild tale. To temper myself, before my dad passed away, he left me with a saying: to surpass humanity, one must abandon their humanity. So I kept going to secret realms to fight. In battle after battle, I broke through my gene lock. "What? You broke through your gene lock? This is a big deal. We need to report it immediately." With that, I felt as if I had inexplicably become a person of interest. On the day of the promotion rounds, I stepped onto the arena. My opponent this time was Luo Xian from Anqing No. 3 High School, a martial artist with an level 8 cultivation who had awakened a second-tier rare magical beast bloodline. "You can make the first move." Seeing that he was being looked down upon, Luo Xian awakened his bloodline and used his martial technique, Dashing Lightning Claw. His sharp claws aimed right at my throat. However, I had effortlessly grabbed his attacking claw. "The momentum is good, but it's still far from that bald guy's charge," I said while raising my hand high in the air, then delivered a single hand chop to Luo Xian's head. The winner once again was me. Another instant knockout, and it was against the seated contestant Luo Xian. The live broadcast chat exploded. The absolute martial dominance I displayed had even ignited everyone's passion. Watching Luo Xian being carried off the arena by the medical staff, Chu Zhou's eyes filled with fighting spirit, as expected of the man I have my eye on. "I must meet you in the finals." The head of admissions for Imperial University also saw my powerful performance on the live broadcast. I want all his information within half an hour. Just as my battle ended, the second match of the promotion rounds began in full swing. This was Kai Shaoling, known as the Queen of Anqing's second senior high, while the opposing contestant was Lu Qingju, the unattainable flower of Anqing first senior high. And so, the match had finally begun. In an instant, Kai Shaoling's leg was already sweeping towards Lu Qingju's neck. "Let's see how long you can keep that straight face when I pin you to the ground." Lu Qingju responded with her family secret art, Sutra of Transient Splendor. Kai Shaoling's leg was almost enveloped by the water-like martial energy, but she just deflected off and gathered distance, and in an instant delivered the martial skill, Howling Gale Step. However, her palm stopped inches away from the Lin Qingju's waist, unable to advance further. Damn, it's a trap. The suction of the air didn't allow her to pull free. At this moment, Lu Qingju attacked for the first time with the profound yellow martial skill, Primordial Jade Finger. The martial artists who witnessed this on the live broadcast all widened their eyes. Kai Shaoling retaliated with her bloodline awakening, the Shadow Claw Tiger King. With a light tap of her foot, her body gracefully shifted over, creating distance. "Show me your Nether Sparrow bloodline." Lu Qingju spoke her first words of the battle. "This is enough." Kai Shaoling was thoroughly enraged. Facing the fiercely powerful palm strike, Lu Qingju used softness to overcome hardness. The force of Kai Shaoling's palm completely vanished. Unsuccessful in her first strike, Kai Shaoling used her powerful blood energy to shatter Lu Qingju's invisible threads, her small body leaping into the air for another kick. Seeing this, Lu Qingju once again used the profound yellow martial technique, Primordial Jade Finger. The jade-colored fingertip collided with the fiercely powerful kick. The two powerful streams of martial energy clashed, shattering the specially made arena beneath their feet. Hundreds of thousands of people watched nervously to see who would be victorious. As the dust settled, the first to appear was Kai Shaoling. She was covered in blood, swaying as she struggled, but finally collapsed from exhaustion. In contrast, Lu Qingju stood like an otherworldly fairy. Lu Qingju was victorious. Soon, the match is finished, and the top 8 advancement drawing ceremony had now began. I was the one to draw next. "So you're Group A? I'm also in Group A, so it looks like we'll be facing each other. My name is Xinguan, from Qingfeng Private High School. Our match is the second on the arena. Let's watch them fight the first one." Luo Shi is very strong, but against that Chu Zhou, he still stands no chance. The winner of this bout was Chu Zhou of Anqing First Senior High. Compared to me, I'm the martial arts president of the 3rd year at Qingfeng Private High School. My other 2 companions combined probably couldn't beat me. Actually, in this college entrance exam, I think you are the strongest opponent. I've been particularly sensitive since I was a child. I can sense that you are like a dormant volcano with a giant beast inside you, but it seems like it's our turn now. The top 8 advancement tournament, the second match, Xinguan vs. Yi. With the referee's command, Xinguan and I threw punches at each other simultaneously. Our fist fists collided in an instant, and the air buzzed as if from an explosion. Although a trickle of blood flowed from Xinguan's nose, he was extremely excited. A powerful martial energy formed a barrier on his body, blocking the nuclear radiation I released. Seeing this, my eyes were burning with endless fighting spirit. Then let me show you the martial art passed down through my Shin family for generations. Martial technique, Shape Will Fist. Deer's Peak. His attack was way too fast. In a blink, he strongly hit my chest. I couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood, my body thrown back dozens of meters. Xinguan once again attacked, taking the form of a great bear, his already large frame crashing into me as I blocked it with my arms. I broke into a cold sweat, realizing that Xinguan's physical attacks were infused with martial energy, causing double the damage. The next second, his fist wrapped around me, and suddenly, I was in a chokehold that could lock my martial energy. Next, with the form of an ape, he had thrown me high in the sky. Then crouching like a tiger, he landed a devastating uppercut at me. He continued his assault by diving like an eagle, slamming me deep into the ground. This series of combos left me with no way to fight back. The medical staff outside the arena were already preparing to enter and rescue me, but the next moment, Xinguan suddenly felt goosebumps all over his body, as if he had seen some world-destroying behemoth. From within the dust, an arm covered in scales stretched out, and then I appeared before everyone. Godzilla Bloodline Awakening. You are indeed very strong. As a reward, you are the first to witness me in this state. Hearing my words, Xinguan's pupils widened, and he stood there completely stunned. To the eyes of others, my Bloodline Awakening only meant one thing. I was a bloodline genius. To think your Bloodline Awakening is at such an overwhelming level. With my appearance, the energy sensor in front of the examiners began to emit a piercing sound. The sensors detected an ungodly amount of nuclear energy radiation. Together, they wrapped the arena with martial energy to prevent any leakage. During this, the spectators buzzed once again. It seemed like they did not know what my magical beast was, which made me realize that there was no being like Godzilla on Blue Star. Xinguan's nose started bleeding again. His martial arts barrier could not withstand the overwhelming radiation, so he had to end this quick. Bloodline Awakening, the Gold Star Ape Demon. Then he threw an attack directly at me. Martial technique, Formwell Fist, Snake Strike. Seeing this, I immediately used my own martial technique, Mountain Blocking Fist, to meet his attack. His arm was completely destroyed, but fortunately not shattered. You are outstanding, Xinguan, but unfortunately, you cannot change the outcome. This was the first time Xinguan had been at a disadvantage in a clash, but he didn't retreat. Don't get distracted, big man. I unleashed a barrage of attacks onto Xinguan. However, his arm, like a boneless snake, coiled around me. He used my immovable state to reposition himself. He leapt into the air, then used the martial technique Formwell Fist, Elephant Stomp. With a boom, a huge sound wave created a shockwave that nearly shattered the entire surface of the arena. When the dust settled, everyone looked at the center of the field in disbelief. I was still standing there, motionless and unflinching. Now it's my turn. A circle of blue energy ripples began to glow on my fist, the terrifying heat distorting the air. But before I could make a move, Xinguan suddenly knelt on the ground. Brother E, I surrender. Hearing this, I was stunned and frustrated. The power I had gathered had to be reluctantly retracted. According to the rules, after one party surrendered, the other had no right to attack. And so, the referee immediately announced the result. Match over. He wins. The principal of Qingfeng had a livid face. You dared to surrender? Do you know how much money we spent training you? You ungrateful wolf. Don't even think about going to university until you've paid back the money. Before he could finish, Xinguan's large hand landed on his shoulder. I couldn't have taken that punch. I surrendered to avoid damaging my foundation. If I hadn't surrendered, would you have gone up and taken that punch for me? The principal swallowed, and in the end, said nothing more. And so, the top 4 of the college entrance exams were finally decided. The list for the top 4 matches began. I was the first to go up and draw a lot, and it was first again. Meanwhile, Lu Qingju also presented her lot. She was also first. College entrance exam semifinals, first round, an internal battle for Anqing No. 1 High School. Yi versus Lu Qingju. The online chat was hotly debating on what would happen for our match. The information revealed so far is that Lu Qingju has mastered 2 profound yellow martial techniques. She hasn't even shown her 4th tier Nether Sparrow Bloodline Awakening yet. Yi, on the other hand, was forced to use his Bloodline Awakening against his opponent. Although Yi's bloodline seems to be very high, probably also a 4th tier bloodline, he can't compare to goddess Lu Qingju, who is also a 4th tier bloodline and has a superb martial arts foundation. At this moment, the semi-final matches were now about to start. Anqing No. 1 High School's Yi versus Lu Qingju. Let the fight begin. As soon as the referee's voice fell, a large amount of white smoke rose around me, and I directly entered my Bloodline Awakening state. Yi, I hope you are strong enough. Lu Qingju's martial techniques were far superior to mine. With her divine martial techniques, even with immense strength, I wouldn't be able to harm her. This martial arts genius also had a very high combat IQ. The longer the battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for me, so I had to go all out from the start. I had loudly declared my attack, the martial technique, Mountain Blocking Fist. Lu Qingju's hands moved in a circle, stirring the airflow in front of her, seemingly wanting to absorb the incoming fist. But it was a feint. I had ducked below and swept her with a thick tail of martial energy. Lu Qingju repositioned herself while being impressed at my cunning tactics. I seized the opportunity, and with my superior physique, I relentlessly pursued her. Lu Qingju had skillfully used her martial technique to break free and gain some distance. You aren't getting away that easily. With a wicked swipe, a wave of martial energy had approached her, but she clearly saw this coming and dodged it with a flip. However, as she landed, I was already behind her with my fists at the ready. Another relentless barrage of fists were beaten towards Lu Qingju. She broke in a cold sweat as she defended the attacks. If this continued, she wouldn't last much longer and would be knocked off the arena and lose. Lu Qingju realized she had no other options left, so she decided to use her trump card, Bloodline Awakening. Nether Sparrow. A pair of full purple-black wings grew from Lu Qingju's back. This was the first time she had revealed her Bloodline Awakening. Classmate Ehe, be careful. In this form, I can't control my strength. Is that so? That's all I needed to hear, because up until now, I've only been using about 50% of my power. Next, I'm going all out too. As soon as her words fell, she instantly appeared behind me. She attacked directly with the profound yellow martial technique, Primordial Jade Finger. Meanwhile, I charged my own martial technique, Atomic Blast Fist. The elegant jade-colored fingertip and the ferocious blue glowing demonic fist collided, creating a huge energy reaction at the moment of contact. With a boom, the massive explosion of light and heat and the surging airflow sent us both flying. Lu Qingju flapped her purple-black wings, counteracting the impact of the airflow, but as the dust settled, she was stunned. Protruding bones had grown on my back, crackling a terrifying wave of martial energy. Lu Qingju sensed a fatal threat. What's going on? Ehe's magical beast true form seems to be charging up. The protruding spine seems to be accumulating a huge amount of energy, and it's being transferred to Ehe's mouth bit by bit. And with that, I unleashed the ultimate skill, Atomic Breath Beam. The martial energy was too overwhelming for Lu Qingju. She could only decisively fold her wings, wrapping herself tightly. At the same time, she charged up her own ability, but the next second, a terrifying torrent of energy instantly engulfed her. Just then, Lu Qingju's martial skill, Feather Deflection, had activated, reflecting the martial energy away and dispersing the force. The spectators were terrified by the oncoming beams of energy. However, a golden martial energy enveloped the entire arena. The golden martial energy completely blocked my devastating attacks without difficulty. This was the mayor of Anqing, Wang Qing. Just watch. The strongest top scholar in our Anqing's history will be born today. At this moment, blood had dripped onto the ground. Lu Qingju's wings were tattered and burnt. He actually defeated my Nether Sparrow's defense with just one strike. Since her birth, the Lu family had placed high hopes on her. Under the family's expectations, she had to fight battle after battle to build the reputation of the Lu family's eldest daughter. The influence of her mother was like a chokehold. I'm so tired. Classmate Ehe is really strong. Facing such a strong opponent, it's only natural that I can't win. You should be able to seize this opening I'm showing. Right, Classmate Ehe? Finish me quickly. Lu Qingju thought. Then she delivered an intentionally weak strike. Why didn't you dodge? Classmate Qingju, where has your fighting spirit gone? Since the start of the fight, I've felt you were somewhat distracted. Have you ever taken me seriously? I'm going to win this top scholar title fair and square. Get serious. The strike landed squarely on Lu Qingju, but she was barely able to block it. You better start taking me seriously. I continued beating her to the ground, wanting her to fight seriously this time. I was clearly about to hand you the victory. Why do you keep pursuing me to fight? Don't hit a girl in the face, you damn bastard. Just then, an incredibly powerful martial energy erupted, blasting me away. That's it. If you don't want to be hit in the face, then get serious. The dust scattered, and a giant pair of purple-black wings spread open. This was the taboo martial art, Blood Ignition, revealing her magical beast's true form. Classmate Ehe, as you wish. I will defeat you in my strongest form. You finally revealed your true magical beast form? This is much more interesting. In that case, I can't be lazy either. This was a body technique I created by combining the Godzilla template with hard Qigong, called the Nuclear Light Combat Body. A massive explosion propelled me like a missile straight at Lu Qingju, but she flapped her wings, gathering the surrounding airflow with martial energy, and attacked with the Tearing Hurricane technique. But I showed no fear, plunging into the hurricane like a torpedo, dispersing the hurricane with my explosive fist technique. Lu Qingju then took a deep breath, and she opened her mouth and let out a loud sparrow cry. The visible sound waves clashed with my fist, eventually blasting me away. You think you're the only one who can scream? The protruding bones of my spine once again lit up with one blue glow after another. I won't fall for the same old trick again. I won't be defending this time. I'll unleash the Lu family's strongest move, and I will face you head on. Just then, I outputted Atomic Breath at maximum power. Meanwhile, Lu Qingju had fully charged her attack as well. Bloodline ability, Netherworld Bloodthorns. Just before the attacks would collide, the mayor of Anqing, Wang Qing, used his own gene technique. The divine leyline wall erupted from the ground between the two attacks. The intense martial energies crashed together in the middle. The divine leyline wall had dampened the damage that could have caused many casualties in the arena. Although he had timely released 3 divine leyline wall to slow down my and Lu Qingju's full-powered attacks, it was too hasty empty, and the 3 walls were not as sturdy as usual. At this moment, in the center of the arena, Lu Qingzhu lay collapsed on the ground, her 2 wings completely scorched. One of her arms was also severely burned. "I can't give up. I can still fight." Then I stepped forward, looming over her, seemingly unharmed by the attack. "If you don't remove the nuclear radiation from your body, you'll be crippled in the future." Lu Qingzhu was silent for a moment, but then frustratingly complained, "I never wanted to fight you to this extent. Why did you have to drag me into it?" Hearing this, I squatted down and looked her in the eye. "Do you really not want to fight me, or are you rebelliously refusing to admit your competitive spirit? When I was fighting you just now, I could feel your desire for victory." Lu Qingzhu fell silent again after hearing this, because I was right. Just now, she was indeed thinking about winning against me. She contemplated her actions. What's wrong with me? I clearly hate fighting and wanted to lose to him quickly, but during that clash, I felt the exhilarating fighting spirit. Suddenly, I placed my hand on her shoulder, absorbing all the nuclear radiation from her body. "You had too many distractions in your battle. That's why you lost. However, you are still the strongest opponent I have met so far. I hope we have a chance for a pure battle next time." Hearing my words, Lu Qingzhu was visibly happy. Just then, the dust cleared to reveal myself, standing alone and proud. The first semi-final match is over. Ihi from Anqing No. 1 High School wins. Chu Zhou and I both advanced to the finals. The final battle of the Anqing College entrance exam began. The Dark Horse, Ihi, versus the Apex, Chu Zhou, an ice sword radiating a cold aura condensed in his palms. "Please enlighten me, then come at me with all you got." Chu Zhou moved like a mirage, unleashing towards me the 7-star steps. Multiple blades of martial energy were oncoming, but I had just reeled my fist and slammed down on the ground. The shockwaves was enough to break the oncoming attacks and mirage clones. Chu Zhou looked at the crater in the arena and felt a deep sense of dread. With his defensive power, he couldn't take me head on. Since I can't fight him up close, I'll wear him down from a distance. Chu Zhou immediately activated his bloodline awakening, the Ice Elemental Dragon. Bloodline power, Ice Vein. A large number of ice spikes converged into an ice tsunami, rushing towards me. A small iceberg rose from the ground and had frozen me with the whole field. However, unleashing such a powerful burst of ice energy had taken a toll on Chu Zhou's body. "Look, the iceberg is starting to melt." The next moment, a brilliant blue energy beam pierced through the iceberg, shooting straight at Chu Zhou. The ever-vigilant Chu Zhou instantly manipulated the ground to raise an ice pillar, pushing himself away. The blue energy beam collided with Chu Zhou's defense. "Your ice dragon power has never worked on me, because it seems like I actually counter your abilities." Chu Zhou had realized that the gap in our strength was far too great. "Ihi, take my final move. This move is the limit of my current martial arts, originally intended for Lu Qingzhu." Then, a massive sword made of ice and martial energy emerged from his hands, reaching for the skies. The technique known as soul damaging sword intent. The mayor was surprised at this display of technique. He is able to use the sword intent technique at such a young age. With all his power, Chu Zhou had swung his massive sword down onto me. At that moment, a drop of blood fell to the ground. The only damage that Chu Zhou could do was a small cut on the back of my armored hand. "You might have a chance if you get a better sword in the future." Chu Zhou could not believe his eyes. His ice sword infused with martial energy was broken to pieces. "How much of a chance will I have?" And I answered with a smile, "A little better than a simp's chance of success." Chu Zhou was speechless, then directly conceded defeat. The referee excitedly announced, "Anqing College entrance exam finals, Ihi wins." To the audience here and those watching the 24th Anqing College entrance exam via live broadcast, after 3 days of bloody battles, the top martial scholar of our Anqing city has finally been born. He is Ihi from Anqing No. 1 High School. Student Ihi, I hear that your strength came from a late surge, a culmination of accumulated efforts. Now that you've won the top scholar's throne, is there anything you'd like to say? I was impressed that the reporter could describe my cheating in such an elegant way. First, I want to thank my teacher. He was the one who didn't give up on me when I was at my lowest, who encouraged me and gave me the will to fight. Meanwhile, the head teacher was in tears for the praise he received. Just then, the principal in the front row of the spectators stands suddenly stood up. 2 million, Ihi. Promote our Anqing No. 1 High School, and I'll reward you with a 2 million scholarship. I want to thank my alma mater, thank my principal. Without his brilliant leadership, finally, I want to thank myself. Without my own hard work and intelligence, I, Ihi, would definitely not have achieved today's glory. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the title of top scholar. You are rewarded with 1 random template ability draw. Hearing the system's prompt, I was instantly thrilled. I wondered if the next template I drew would be as powerful as Godzilla. I then excitedly headed towards the stadium exit, but as soon as I pushed open the door, I was surrounded by a forest of cameras and microphones. Student Ihi, who do you think is prettier, Lu Qingzhu or Kai Shaoling? Hearing the reporter's question, I was utterly speechless and ran all the way to the basketball court. However, not long after I arrived to a quiet place, a man in a black trench coat found me. Student Ihi, congratulations on winning the top scholar's throne. I'm from the Imperial capital. Let's talk about the gene lock issue. This surprised me. I hadn't unlocked any gene lock. All my abilities came from the monster template. Did this guy know about my abilities? Who is he? The term gene lock. You heard it from your father. I confirmed this this since according to the original host's memories, that was indeed the case. Student Ehe, aren't you curious how your father, an ordinary taxi driver, knew this term that is completely out of line with his profession? Because of your special situation, the Imperial Capital can unseal a secret file for you. Without hesitation, I opened the file to read it. It recorded the Prometheus incident. Prometheus, once a leading genetics institute on Blue Star, was shut down after a certain incident, forcing its researchers into hiding. Among its key projects was the gene lock technology, so they thought my cheap dad was a senior researcher at Prometheus, and I was Prometheus's secret research result. Student Ehe, please rest assured, the country will not make things difficult for you. I came here this time just to let you understand the situation. Moreover, you are a key target for national training, and we will protect your safety at all times. Hearing this, I nodded and didn't continue the conversation. After sending him away, I was greatly thrilled. I really hit the jackpot with this college entrance exam. I managed to garner a scholarship and a ticket to the Imperial University. Of course, the most important thing was that I could draw a new template ability. Although I knew that a powerful template like the legendary Godzilla was a rare find, I was still full of anticipation. After I clicked to draw, a black vortex appeared on the panel again, and the roars of countless monsters came from within. It wasn't until the sound of earth-shattering footsteps echoed that I understood what template I had drawn this time. D-rank template, Colossal Titan, Bloodline abilities, 60-meter gigantification, high-temperature steam, advanced form, Founding Titan, compatibility, 1%. After reading the information, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed, but then I realized that the abilities of the templates could be stacked. If the Colossal Titan template was stacked with the legendary Godzilla template, I would become the true king of monsters, Godzilla. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit room, Wolong's index finger tapped incessantly on the mahogany table beneath him, quickly creating a series of dents. His younger brother, Wapeng, had been missing for half a month. The rescue team sent into the secret realm to search couldn't even find his body. However, the rescue team found a small amount of nuclear radiation from the location, and he quickly realized who the killer could be. Ehe must be a rare genius in Anqing. Imperial University will be fighting to get him, but it's a pity they won't live to see Ehe enroll. A few days later, I was preparing to go to the secret realm to test my idea of stacking the Godzilla template with the Colossal Titan template, but before I could set off, I received a letter from Chuzhou. Ehe, according to the investigation by the Imperial Central Research Institute, a new secret realm rift is scheduled to open this afternoon at 3 o'clock at Red Tree Mountain in the suburbs of Anqing City. The estimated secret realm level is around C rank. I want to explore this secret realm. Do you want to team up with me? I was greatly shocked by this, that Chuzhou had still written a physical letter in the current era. Later that afternoon, over 1,000 martial artists gathered here in Red Tree Mountain, since new secret realms were indeed highly sought after. Soon enough, I successfully met up with Chuzhou outside Red Tree Mountain. Ehe, you've gotten stronger again. Hearing this, I chuckled. I didn't expect this guy's senses to be so sharp. I had upgraded the compatibility of the Colossal Titan template to 35%. It would seem like lower-level monster templates produced results way faster. Chuzhou, what university are you going to apply for? Without hesitation, he answered Imperial University, so it seemed we would be schoolmates in the future. As soon as I finished speaking, the crowd erupted. The secret realm is opening. The secret realm had even released a bird-like monster our way, but unfortunately, what awaited it were thousands of fully armed martial artists. The martial artists let out a battle cry that shook the mountains and forests, all of them charging forward ferociously. The three-headed strange bird looked in terror at the thousands of martial artists swarming towards it like madmen. It wanted to retreat, but awkwardly, it was stuck, and it was soon easily defeated. After the battle, the group continued deeper into the secret realm. Chuzhou and I followed the large group of martial artists into the secret realm. The thick smell of blood filled our nostrils. A beast tide had already gathered inside the secret realm. The martial artists were currently fighting the beast tide, and the sounds of roars and wails all merged, creating a cruel and bloody symphony of war. Chuzhou activated his bloodline, releasing a large swath of ice flow to freeze the feet of the magical beasts in front. On the other side, I had already killed dozens of magical beasts. Chuzhou was shocked that I had already slain so many. It was evident that the magical beasts died and melted from my extreme nuclear radiation. On the battlefield, I was like a humanoid nuclear contamination source, releasing radiation without restraint. Wherever I went, life began to decay and die. The other martial artists recognized what I was doing and had formed a protective positioning. At that moment, a signal flare lit up in the sky. The leader of the beast tide must have been defeated, and the beast tide even began retreating. Of the 1,000 martial artists who had gathered, only about 800 remained. I walked over to Chuzhou with several large sacks on my back. How did you get so many magic cores? This is my spatial ring. You can put them in here for now. A spatial ring is worth tens of millions. I didn't realize you were a rich guy, Chuzhou. Just then, the raid leader, Wusun, had come back. It's a good thing the high-level martial artists went to kill the lord-level magical beasts. Otherwise, we would have all been exhausted to death in the beast horde. Hello, our Anqing's top scholar. My name is Wusun, and I'm the branch leader of the Silver Wolf Martial Troop in Anqing. I just heard from my members about your heroic performance. sense. I wonder if you would be willing to join our martial troupe. Joining will not affect your university studies. In fact, it will allow you to enjoy various subsidies and benefits. I, Woosen, am willing to offer you an S-rank member contract. Woosen's words immediately made the surrounding martial artists envious. The Silver Wolf martial troupe was considered a large martial troupe throughout the entire kingdom, meaning an S-rank contract is incredibly rare for a student. Woosen, I was wondering why you ran so fast. It turns out you were rushing ahead to recruit people. Student Ihi, join our Qingda martial troupe. Although our troupe is smaller than Silver Wolf, you will enjoy 15% of our troupe's monthly cultivation resources. As soon as she said this, all the martial artists' eyes widened. Sorry, I currently have no intention of joining a martial troupe. Woosen and the others were not surprised by my answer. They considered this recruitment attempt as just a way to build a good relationship. The beast tie crisis was over, which meant the martial artists were free to explore. Chu Zhou and I first flew to the tops of the trees, planning to get a full view of the entire area before making a plan. But as soon as we got up there, we were both stunned. In the far distance, by a high mountain, a group of black humanoid creatures were moving slowly. Their bodies were as huge as the mountains. We are still young. In the next few years, we might not only be able to conquer these secret realm magical beasts, but even figure out the truth of the secret realms. Chu Zhou was a bit speechless. It seemed that not only in martial arts, but even in willpower, he couldn't compare to Yi. Yi was the true martial artist. At this moment, I detected a strange place through my life magnetic field. It was a lake, and the location of the lake was a complete blank, like a vacuum. The bigger the waves, the more expensive the fish. I decisively decided to take Chu Zhou to the lake to try our luck. Soon, we passed through the giant tree forest and arrived at the lake. When we arrived, 3 people had already gathered here, and one of them was a familiar face, Huang Yuli, the one who had once given me a discount business card. Isn't this our top scholar? I never thought you, little guy, were so amazing. Sister Yuli, how long have you been here? We just arrived. 2 of our teammates who are good at swimming went down to scout the lake. Suddenly, a figure leaped out of the water. We've struck it rich. We're going to be rich. There's a relic at the bottom of the lake. We're going to make a fortune. At the same time, I asked Chu Zhou what they were talking about. In the secret realm world, there were some mysterious buildings believed to be left by a previous civilization of the secret realm, which experts collectively called relics. After Yu Yang finished his report, he immediately looked at me and Chu Zhou with hostility. Who are you two? How dare you eavesdrop on us? Huang Yuli immediately introduced us, and that we could help with exploring the ruins. As for the rewards, they were free to give us what we contributed. Yu Yang led the way, and the others followed him into the lake. Easily, we were able to dive deep within the lake, and eventually, we reached a big cave. Strange. Where's that guy Li Wei? Didn't I tell him to guard here? He took out a walkie-talkie and called Li Wei several times, but there was no response. This place seems very dangerous, and Li Wei is missing. Should we still explore? We must explore. If you don't dare to pick up the riches and honor laid out before you, you'll be a bottom-tier martial artist for life. In that case, let's go. Yu Yang walked in front, leading the way for everyone. Because of Li Wei's disappearance, the group was now very silent, on guard against any possible danger. Something's not right. The timing is off. Huang Yuli said their team had just arrived at the lake, which means at most 10 minutes have passed. Yet Yu Yang and Li Wei were able to find this cave at the bottom of a huge lake, pass through the underground cavern, and find such a hidden route to the relics. It's like they have a map hack in a game. It's obviously a trap. Should we warn your acquaintance and leave? No rush. I have a trump card. Emerging from the narrow path, there was a massive cavern, with dense, dark green vines covering every corner. Many vines were wrapped around the corpses of magical beasts. The relics you mentioned, where are they? Just as she finished speaking, a teammate suddenly screamed. Where she was pointing, the shriveled corpse of Li Wei, pierced by vines, hung in midair. Suddenly, Yu Yang was already kneeling on the ground, muttering to himself, why are there no relics here? Where did the relics go? Li Wei is dead. How did he die? The vines. I think I was also by the vines. You guys, run. The next moment, with a squish, his head exploded like a firework. Several vines extended from the opening in his head, swaying like the tentacles of a demon. While everyone was stunned, I directly used atomic breath. A brilliant blue beam of light engulfed Yu Yang's upper body, and those strange vines were also annihilated by the atomic energy. I didn't expect a magical beast to have such intelligence. After hunting 2 martial artists, it parasitized one of their brains, using him as bait to lure more prey. It seems we've been lured into its hunting ground. Just then, the passage we came from had been crushed by the vines, blocking our retreat. This is a second-tier king-level magical beast species, the ghost demon vine. A king-level bloodline can't be measured by ordinary levels. This level is not something a few first-tier martial artists like us can fight against. Whatever level it is, just watch me smash it to pieces. Just as I was about to enter Colossal Titan mode, with a boom, the collapsed passage behind me was blasted open. A mysterious martial artist, bursting with terrifying blood energy, swept in. I've come for your life. Ehe. I heard of someone in the Red Tree Mountain secret realm who used nuclear radiation to resist the beast tide, so I knew it was you. By following the residual radiation, I tracked you to the underground cavern, holding my breath to avoid detection. Yet you still discovered me, blocking the passage with a boulder and even even sensing me when I entered suspended animation, halting my breath and heartbeat. Truly, only you could drive my whole family brothers to their limits. Who are you, uncle? You suddenly rushed in and said a bunch of gibberish. Do we know each other? Stop pretending. Go to hell. Long roared and he leaped to attack me. Is this the lair of the ghost demon vine? Luring me into a monster's nest and letting the monster deal with me. Damn it. Was this also your plan? Hehe. The ghost demon vine's characteristic is to absorb martial energy and release neurotoxins. If this drags on, I'll definitely be defeated here. Damn you. You dared to set me up. Uncle, you have a lot of inner drama. This is our first time meeting, right? Long, now annoyed, unleashed his martial energy to push away the vines. Not good. This cavern is going to collapse because of their battle. Everyone, get out of the way. With my body covered in scales, I was charging another maximum power atomic breath, releasing the torrent of blue light. It broke through the rock layer above. A large amount of lake water poured into the cavern from the opening above, and a passage to the outside was opened. Sister Yuli, you guys go first. Don't even think about running. Chu Zhou unleashed his bloodline ability, soul damaging sword intent, blocking Huolong's attack with a wall of ice. As long as I'm here, you won't touch a single hair on Yi's head. Little brat, I'm a level 8 martial artist. This little bit of frost can't hurt me. While he was talking, I suddenly got close and used Atomic Blast Fist. A brilliant blue light illuminated the entire underground cavern, and Huolong was sent flying into the stone wall. You go first. That guy is a high-level martial artist. It'll be a bit difficult for you to deal with him now. You can leave this guy to me. Hearing my words, Chu Zhou knew he couldn't help much anymore, so he decisively retreated, not causing me any trouble. With a loud boom, a brilliant blue lightning bolt shot out from the lake, illuminating the entire lake. Just then, the body of the colossal titan had emerged from the lake. Meanwhile, Huolong was completely burnt and incapacitated from the hot steam and radiation. Chu Zhou and the others vaguely saw a huge shadow loomed over them in the fog. Just as they were on guard, I crawled out of the river water. What was that explosion just now? It was that mysterious martial artist. He actually brought an electric plasma bomb and took the ghost demon vine down with him. There seemed to be a giant in the smoke. No, it was just the explosion. You saw it wrong. Unfortunately, my opponent was burnt to a crisp, so I couldn't loot his body, but it's a good thing I still managed to grab the ghost demon vine's magic core. We'll be leaving first. We're sorry for not only making you come along for nothing but also troubling you to save us. When you leave the secret realm, we'll compensate you. But I disregarded the compensation, and instead it was the repayment for the previous favor. So, Chu Zhou, the next thing on our schedule is happy killing monster time. After 3 days of non-stop hunting, we were already heading back to the secret realm entrance, but we were surprised at the sight. In just a few days, the entrance has already been developed into a town. Later in the appraisal office, I provided them with a huge sack of magic cores. Forgive me for being too rash. I'd prefer the appraisal be finished before noon. The staff assured me that they were professionals, so I sighed and took off my spatial ring. Surprisingly, I had taken out bag after bag. The staff could only think that we were hauling these magic cores. Sir, have you finished taking them all out? That part is done, but you better hurry up since I still have spiritual medicine to unload. After appraising the magic cores, I went to the spiritual herb appraisal office. Now, green and white quality magic cores were no longer useful for my improvement, so I could sell them all for money. The 5 third-tier blue magic cores I collected while fighting the beast tide, and the green magic core with golden veins from the 2nd-tier king-level ghost demon vine were the biggest gains. After selling all these things, I had over 20 million in my bank account. Looking at the long string of zeros after the number, I no longer felt the same joy as before. Since genetic potions and the lower grade magic cores doesn't improve my monster template any longer, the template sure has a picky appetite. I don't have the proper qualifications for buying high-end materials yet. However, there was another path to improve my strength: martial arts. In the college entrance exam, I was able to suppress Lu Qingzhu and the others entirely because of the powerful stats of the Godzilla template. But in terms of martial techniques, I couldn't even compare to those martial arts prodigies. So what I needed to do now was to get my hands on those powerful martial techniques. As for who around me had the most connections in society and could help me get high-level martial techniques, there was only one person: the principal of Anqing's #1 high school. Soon after, I arrived at the principal's office. The principal of Anqing's #1 high school made me a cup of tea. With his seasoned experience, he could naturally tell that I had a favor to ask. I immediately took out a bottle of expensive white wine. Principal, it's like this. I want to learn some powerful martial techniques. Do you have any connections? You've already applied to Imperial University, and you'll surely be accepted. Why don't you wait until you're in university to learn martial techniques? You're in too much of a hurry. Principal, I'm too eager to improve. Alright, I can help you with this. Teachers are meant to guide according to the student's aptitude. Time quickly passed and in the next day, the principal called as expected. Hello, I've arranged things for you. You can go now. Thank you. Principal, may I ask which martial artist family it is? What? The Lu family of Anqing is willing to teach me their family's secret arts? Soon after, on the road to the Lu family's estate, Lu Qingjie was driving with a blonde lady on the back. Brother Jia, you're so awesome. Just as he was about to brag, a dazzling yellow shared bicycle appeared beside him. Brother, don't get distracted while driving at high speeds. Damn it, are you crazy? You scared me to death, riding a broken shared bike and daring to race me, he said as he twisted the throttle to the max. You are not worthy to be riding alongside me. I remained silent for a second, but suddenly a large blue explosion erupted behind them. I quickly overtook him, leaving a blue blur. See you later, Chinjia little bro. The rocket tail like blue fire propelled me, as if I were flying at a low altitude. Are bicycles this fast now? That's almost the speed of a plane, right? Half an hour later, I finally arrived at the Liu family estate. As expected of a martial arts family, their residence was so grand. The estate was built like a castle. At the same time, several powerful presences appeared in my life magnetic field. At the entrance of the estate, a graceful figure in a white dress walked over. It was Liu Qingju. She greeted me with a hint of nervousness. You're here, classmate Yi. My mother asked me to welcome you. Let's go see her now. I nodded and followed behind her. Walking on the expensive, high-end carpet, we entered a delicately and grandly decorated hall. Mother, Yi has arrived now. The head of the Liu family, Qin Lan, descended the stairs, welcoming me to their house. Not long after the college entrance exam, Liu Qingju returned home. She had expected a scolding from her strict mother and was prepared to accept punishment, but unexpectedly, her mother just called her to the study and, for the first time in a long time, they sat down to have tea together. Qingju, don't be nervous. I watched the live broadcast of your battle with that boy named Yi. You did very well. Yi's strength would be a dark horse even in the Imperial Capital's college entrance exam. You don't need to blame yourself. In your generation of the Liu family, only you are capable of taking on the responsibility. Your brother's talent is limited. He can't inherit the Liu family at all. But you are a girl after all, and so beautiful. Your father passed away early, and now our Liu family doesn't have a grandmaster as a backer. Our family's power has been forced to retreat to this small ancient. If a large family demands a marriage alliance with you, we have no right to refuse, and this means the Liu family will be annexed, and our 100 years of foundation will be handed over. And so, I want to arrange you and Yi to be together. Yi is very good, with outstanding talent, a simple family background, and a limitless future. From my observation, he is by no means an ambitious and ruthless person. You don't have to answer now. You can get to know Yi first. At this moment, Qin Lan walked down the stairs. Welcome to the Liu family. Yi. Hello, Auntie. This is a small token of my appreciation for you. I heard from the principal of Anqing's #1 high school that you want to learn some advanced martial techniques. Let Qingju show you the way. Hearing this, I was surprised. I didn't expect Qin Lan to be so generous. Qingju will take you to the Liu family's martial arts repository. Because the martial techniques in the repository are forbidden to be taken out, you only have 1 day to study inside. In the depths of the repository, there are 3 profound yellow martial techniques. Whether you can learn them depends on your ability. Then he thanks the Liu family in advance. Qin Lan recognized that I specifically thanked the Liu family, as if I was making a promise to the family itself, and she was satisfied with this, hoping that I will fulfill my promise in the future. Afterward, Liu Qingju took me to the martial arts repository. Classmate Qingju, why do I feel like your eyes are always avoiding mine? I suddenly quickened my pace and stood in front of her, meeting her panicked, doe-like eyes. No, I'm not. Why are you standing so close? I followed her to an underground stone chamber. This is force-dissipating stone, a special stone excavated from a secret realm. It can withstand the attacks of a profound yellow master martial artist without shattering. Can I punch it? You can very well try. I immediately clenched my fist, every cell in my body undergoing a violent reaction of atomic energy. A brilliant blue light covered my fist, and the fist tore through the air, striking the stone wall. The blue energy impact surprisingly didn't explode but was completely absorbed by the stone wall. It's completely unharmed. It was like punching the sea, sinking into a swamp, and more than 90% of the force was absorbed. Let's go. I'll take you inside to choose a martial technique. The martial techniques here are categorized by movement techniques, defense, body tempering, swordsmanship, and so on. Whichever book you want to learn, just use this identity card to open the permission. The profound yellow martial techniques are in the innermost small stone chamber, which is also accessed by swiping the card. But you won't be able to comprehend a profound yellow martial technique in 1 day. At most, you'll learn a little bit. I can pick a few martial techniques for you that are second only to profound yellow and suitable for you. Are you thinking for my sake? With a profound yellow martial technique right in front of me, if I want to learn, I'll naturally learn the strongest. Seeing my persistence, Liu Qingju didn't say any more and directly opened the black stone door of the secret chamber. 3 safes appeared in front of me, the fleeting shadow transformation, and the primordial jade finger. The third one was the devil in the flesh, which Liu Qingju did not use in the battle. To learn profound yellow martial techniques, one must feel the martial rhyme left by its creator, not just see it. If you can't sense it, or if your attributes clash with it, you can't practice it. In truth, these techniques are alive. They choose the martial artist, not the other way around. Then I must be the chosen one for the devil in the flesh technique. Liu Qingju then opened the safe, revealing a ferocious bronze statue inside. Isn't a profound yellow martial technique a book? Profound yellow martial techniques are not just statues. They can also be paintings or utensils. Anything can become a carrier of martial rhyme. This is the wonder of a grandmaster. Only a grandmaster can condense martial rhyme and attach it it to an object to pass on their legacy to future generations. The rest is up to you. If you have the affinity, you will naturally feel the martial rhyme. I circled around the statue of a strong man a few times, unable to figure out how to feel the martial rhyme. If it's all about affinity, then I'll just take a nap. I immediately lay down and fell asleep, which made Lu Qingzhu, who was watching on the monitor, silently annoyed. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in a dilapidated temple. It was covered in cobwebs and dust, and even the angry-faced bodhisattva on the altar had a broken arm. Is this what they call sensing the martial rhyme? Am I in the world of martial rhyme now? I couldn't feel any martial energy, not even Godzilla's nuclear reaction. I seemed to have returned to the form of an ordinary person, but thankfully, my monster template was still there. It had prevented me from dying by blessing my spiritual body. Only a true man can inherit my martial arts. Otherwise, I'd rather let my legacy rot in the ground. Boy, prove to me that you're a man of steel. When the storm rages, there will be 100 ghosts parading at night. At that time, you'll guard this broken temple for me and don't let these angry-faced bodhisattvas be defiled by the evil ghosts. If you succeed, I'll reluctantly teach you my skills. If you fail, you'll go mad and never practice martial arts ever again. A cold drop of rain fell through the dilapidated ceiling onto my face. The man disappeared. It looks like the trial is beginning. I then found a rusty, broken sword behind the angry-faced bodhisattva's altar and stood at the entrance of the broken temple, one man and one sword. The rumbling thunder continued, and the pale lightning illuminated my face. This lightning seemed to be a signal, causing the dark world outside to boil. A shadow had pounced towards me, and I met it with a direct slash. The moment the sword blade touched the shadow, the rusty sword body burst with a golden light. As expected, the trial wouldn't let a martial artist fight 100 ghosts with their bare hands. There must be hidden items around. I became excited and no longer defended the broken temple, but took the initiative to attack, rushing out with my sword into the darkness. The 100 ghosts in this trial carry my baleful aura. For a mere martial apprentice to leave the temple's protection is courting death. Another fool. It seems, martial artists grow weaker with each generation. The ferocious man sighed, and just as he was about to go outside to collect my body, he had realized something. How did this kid do it? Why can't the 100 ghosts get close to him? It seems like the system has made me immune to the attacks in this spiritual world, meaning I had an invincible golden body inside this world. With this realization, I had went all out and continually struck any ghosts that got close. Boy, how did you do it? How are you able to be unaffected by my martial rhyme? Nothing else, just diligent practice. I like your excuse. Since you have passed the test, I will pass on the technique to you. However, it depends on whether you'll be able to handle it. The angry-faced bodhisattva in the broken temple collapsed, revealing a dry well it was suppressing. This well contains the essence of the baleful aura I condensed in my lifetime. The devil in the flesh technique is also at the bottom of the well, if you can refine it. Before he could even finish, I had already dived into the well. Alright, I've never seen such a unique young man. In his prime, the ferocious man was a hero who had braved an S-rank secret realm. He had both succeeded and failed because of the devil in the flesh. As he grew old and his energy and blood began to decline, the baleful aura and vengeful spirits suppressed in his body began to backlash. He not only went mad, but also committed murder against those around him. In order not to make another mistake, he chose to end himself, and before he died, he mixed his life's vengeful spirits and baleful aura with his martial rhyme, casting them together into this statue carrier. Though a century has passed and the baleful aura has dissipated, it remains far beyond what a martial apprentice can endure. If I can subdue the aura that defeated him, I will surely surpass him on the path of the devil in the flesh. In the monitoring room, Qin Lan came to Lu Qingzhu's side, and they both watched me, who had already entered the martial rhyme space. But then, something started to happen to my unconscious body. Mother, what's going on? When he first fell asleep, he had a smug smile on his face, as if he was having a happy dream. Now he's suddenly convulsing and bleeding all over. This third profound yellow martial technique was an accidental find by your grandfather in his later years. He once tried to cultivate it, but despite his grandmaster level strength, the statue's martial rhyme rejected him, leaving him injured. Since then, none of the Lu family has mastered this technique. Such extraordinary power demands a price only the worthy can endure. Since he chose to accept the power of this martial technique, then but suddenly, I had woken up and was even stretching, as if I had slept very comfortably. Thank you for teaching me the martial art, elder. My mind still echoed with the last words of the ferocious man. Boy, you are the most talented person I have ever seen. Maybe you can find out the truth of the secret realms. This is something our predecessors have never accomplished, so I leave it to you juniors. But what the ferocious man didn't know was that I completely cheated the test. Devil in the flesh, the body is like Shura. Although my panel stats hadn't increased at all, now that I had mastered a profound yellow martial technique, my combat power is now doubled. You've mastered it. Yes, I've mastered it. How is that possible? Even with Qingzhu's talent, to initially master a profound yellow martial technique, she had to stay in the martial rhyme space for a week without sleep. You really just learned it by taking a 1-hour nap. Seeing their doubtful gazes, I decided to show the mother and daughter what I could do. I immediately circulated my martial energy. This was the evil spirit I had mastered from the martial rhyme world. To explain it, it was probably like an enchantment in a game, which could be added to my martial energy, making it more lethal. Mountain blocking fist, and a fist wrapped in black-red baleful aura was thrown out. Lu Qingzhu thought to herself, such a strong aftershock. There was even a ghost-like howl, like what he mentioned. Qin Lam looked at me with an inexplicable gaze. She didn't expect that she had still underestimated me. I was very embarrassed by Qin Lan's fiery gaze. Classmate Yi, since you have already mastered one profound yellow martial technique, do you want to learn the other two? You still have one day to study. After hearing this, Qin Lam glanced at her daughter helplessly. Although she was investing in me and was prepared to take me as her golden goose of a son-in-law, I was ultimately not a member of the Lu family yet. She couldn't just give me all of the Lu family's heritage. No need, classmate Qingzhu. One profound yellow martial technique is enough for me to digest for a long time. I won't learn any other martial techniques for now. Auntie, I'm a little tired, and I have some things to deal with at home. I heard from the butler that you came here on a shared bike. Do you know how to drive? Pick a car from the garage and go. It'll be more convenient for you. Speaking of which, I immediately remembered the young man I met on the way here. Auntie, do you have a motorcycle? Yes. You like to ride motorcycles? You have the same hobby as my troublesome son. I'll give you the best one he has in his collection. A few minutes later, Lu Qingjie returned home. That kid on the shared bike was so annoying. He scared away the new girl I just picked up. Don't let me see him again. Just as he was fuming, something suddenly whizzed past him. Isn't that the kid on the shared bike? Why is he riding my motorcycle? Time quickly passed to the evening. After returning home, I took out the 5 magic cores I had left from the secret realm, preparing to absorb them all at once. This time, I specially prepared some soul-stirring dipping sauce to enhance the flavor. I picked up a piece of the magic core, dipped it in a sauce, and swallowed it. A hot current instantly filled my limbs. I then summoned the panel and added all the increased points to the Colossal Titan template. Then I continued to pick up the green magic core with golden veins, and swallowed it. But just as I was about to have the Godzilla template absorb this special magic core, an unexpected prompt appeared. The legendary Godzilla template has absorbed the gene sequence of a special plant life form, resulting in a special mutation. Does the host wish to prevent the template from mutating? I hesitated for a moment. Mutation meant it would become a monster template with different attributes. If it became an advantageous attribute, that would be great, but if it became a disadvantageous attribute, it would be a reverse evolution. To hell with it, let's take a gamble. I then clicked the do not prevent option. The next second, the prompt sounded again. Legendary Godzilla is loading the plant attribute mutation path, unlocking the S-rank isotope template Godzilla Earth. When the legendary Godzilla template reaches 100%, there is a 2% chance of transforming into the Godzilla Earth template. I was greatly satisfied with the successful gamble, and the name sounded powerful as well. However, I needed to reach 100% compatibility to unlock this, and I couldn't wait any longer. Just as I was planning for the future, a huge explosion suddenly sounded outside. What's going on? A terrorist attack. I looked out the window and saw that the SWAT team had already sealed off the area, as if they were searching for someone. Just then, a knock came from the apartment door. I was a loner and didn't have any friends who would visit, nor had I ordered any delivery, so who could be outside? Do you know who it is, miss? It seems the little brother is not an ordinary martial artist. I was just planning to hide something here and modify your memory. Since you've discovered me, I'll have to make you suffer a little. You'd better not run. Forget it. I have so much in savings anyway. I'll just buy another apartment. What are you talking about? I'm saying, you're already dead. Meanwhile, on the street below, several police were fighting with a man. The man, although injured under the siege of many police, had a relaxed smile on his face. Yahello, you must get the golden gene out of here. I, Zhou, will draw their fire for you. Come at me. Trading my one life for all of you is worth it. Just then, a dark figure fell in front of him, creating a large pit in the ground. Yahello, why is your white nano battlesuit now burnt black? Sis, I risked my life to get you and the thing out. What happened? I've hidden the thing. Let's retreat first. With that, she took out a large number of special smoke bombs, threw them on the ground, and then escaped with Zhou through the sewers. Later, the two emerged from a small alley. Finally lost the cops now. You still haven't explained to me why you trespassed into my home. I guess you just happened to pick this great one's place when you were randomly choosing a resident, right? As a reward for trespassing, I'll play with you properly. How did you find us? Of course, I wouldn't explain to him that I could track Yaoime's radiated body. This is the perfect time to test out the devil in the flesh technique. My fist instantly smashed towards Zhou. Under the enhancement of the black-red baleful aura, the fist also underwent a violent cell-level atomic reaction. A black-red energy lightning bolt erupted, and he was sent crashing into the cement. Yaoime watched Zhou being sent flying and couldn't help but gasp. Whose disciple are you? My master is Godzilla. At this moment, Zhou struggled to his feet, steam rising from his bloody arms. This was the true form of a magical beast, the Iron Crown Rhino. Now this is more like it. Just as my attention was focused on Zhou, Yaoime used her nano battlesuit's optical camouflage to launch a surprise attack from behind. However, as soon as she got close, she was hit in the abdomen by an atomic beam shot from my fingertip. Her battlesuit was damaged, and she was sent flying. Yaoime is useless. Even her sneak attack failed. Zhou roared and charged at me like a runaway train. My eyes showed an excited fighting spirit. The next moment, our two fists met, and the air vibrated with a invisible, distorted ripple. However, I was caught off guard. Even with my buffs, his defense had seemingly increased so much that it could withstand my attack. Kid, my Iron Crown Rhino true form can easily block even a tank shell. What are you going to use to break my defense? Not only my defense, but my attack power has also increased even more. Go to hell. And Joey directly closed in for close quarters combat. Little brat, no matter how arrogant you are, you're still no match for my Iron Crown Rhino. Wait, where did he go? Just then, Joey sensed something watching him. At this moment, a gigantic titan loomed over Joey. Is this a magical beast? Where did it come from? Could it be that kid transformed? A large hand parted the clouds and slapped directly at him. However, Joey managed to instinctively jump to dodge, but the titan's other fist had already descended upon him with the force of a mountain. He was directly crashed into the ground as he couldn't dodge midair, but this was just the titan's first punch. A violent barrage of fists rained down upon Joey, completely destroying him. At this moment, Yahello, who was struggling to get up, trembled all over at this scene. I'm such a fool. Why did I provoke this monster? If this continues, Joey will be beaten to death. I can't escape. I can only fight to the death. After some thought, a yellow thread appeared in her hand. While Joey was taking the giant's punches, she jumped down from a tall building, her body spinning as she came to the giant's throat with a molecular thread strong enough to cut high-grade alloys. The titan you transformed into through some gene technique is powerful, but the weaknesses of the human body must not have changed. Just like that, the head of the titan was completely cut clean off, crash landing right in front of her. Did I finally succeed? Suddenly, the titan's mouth suddenly opened, and a blue light of destruction brewed in its throat. The sound of gradually increasing energy hummed in Yahello's ears. With a loud boom, the atomic breath completely engulfed Yahello, then pierced through a large building, drawing a brilliant blue streak across the sky. After the breath attack ended, the giant's massive body vented a large amount of hot steam like a steam engine, and I returned to my human form from the hot steam, walking up to Joey and looking at him indifferently. It's your turn. Those who kill must be prepared to be killed. It's only fair after all. At this moment, the distant sirens were getting closer. Even if I die, you won't live long. Yahello has already hidden the golden gene in your room. Now the golden gene is yours. You will face endless pursuit. You talk too damn much with your empty threats. The police are here. I need to dispose of the bodies quickly. I might have went a bit too far this time. After disposing of the two bodies, I returned home. I first sent a message to Lan, asking her to help pull some strings, because I had used that highly recognizable atomic breath, and the police would inevitably come to take a statement afterward. After finishing the call with Lan, I found the golden gene Joey mentioned in the room. It was a sealed cylindrical small can with a Laser Bird Company logo on it. It seemed those two had stolen this thing from Laser Bird and were facing various pursuits while on the run. From what he said, it seemed he was framing me for this. It looks like I have to move. I'll find a hotel for tonight. Sometime later, in the Birank secret realm, inner region of Swan Lake, a group of martial artists had just finished hunting a magical beast, but suddenly, they had seen something terrifying come their way. Countless magical beasts filled the entire horizon, and the sound of footsteps rolled like thunder, crushing everything in their path into pieces. On the head of a crocodile-like magical beast larger than a mountain peak, there was a throne made of white bones. A black ape sat on the white bone throne. This was the 5th-tier sovereign-class magical beast, the blood-eyed black ape. Quickly, notify the army. A sovereign-class magical beast is leading a large-scale beast tide. Anshin can't hold them. We would need grandmasters and senior grandmasters for support. Damn it, high-level beasts rarely leave their own territory. Why is this happening now? The black ape sitting on the white bone throne sensed their presence. It slowly opened its scarlet eyes and glanced at the martial artist team. The crocodile's mouth opened, roaring loudly. Suddenly, spiraling rock missiles aimed right at the running martial artists. The martial artist desperately requested backup on his communication device, but at that moment, he was still crushed to death. However, the message of a sovereign incursion was confirmed by the walkie-talkie. The black ape also stood up from the white bone throne at this time, and actually spoke human words. Full speed ahead. The beast tide was headed for the secret realm rift. Soon after, a high-pitched, sharp alarm for an incoming beast tide sounded. The mayor's voice then sounded on the broadcast. It is estimated to break through and reach Anqing in 20 minutes. All current martial artists have been deployed to the front lines to resist the beast tide. All martial artists, come in support. In the mayor's office, Wang Qing's brow was furrowed. He made one call after another, trying to get reinforcements to buy as much time as possible for Anqing. But this time, Anqing was not the only city to encounter a large-scale beast tide invasion. Many places across the country had issued beast tide invasion warnings, and unfortunately, the neighboring region of Imperial City was also facing an outbreak, meaning that the Imperial City forces would lend their aid over there instead of Anqing. There's no time to waste. The battle to defend Anqing has begun. Now, we can only rely on ourselves. At this time, in Chuzhou's house, me and him were training together, sparring like good friends. I was even impressed that Chuzhou managed to take my punch directly. Suddenly, we heard the alarm for the beast tide trigger. An evacuation alert even sounded on Chuzhou's phone, so I then asked Chuzhou if he wanted to go. Chuzhou directly shook his head. Are you staying too? I think with your talent, it's best if you leave. So So much nonsense. Don't be so sentimental. Since you're not leaving, let's go fight together. Meanwhile, in the Lu family estate, Lu Qingzhu wanted to go fight the beast tide but was stopped by Qin Lan. How confident are you of surviving? Anqing has only 30,000 martial artists. Against a beast tide, that's a mere sailboat before a storm, destined to be swallowed whole. And a sovereign-class magical beast is simply not a monster that the current Anqing can face. That's a being that only a grandmaster can barely fight against. Qingzhu, your life is not just your own, it's the entire family's. A martial artist family that can't resist magical beasts doesn't deserve to survive. Hong Yi, we are leaving Anqing. As for Yi, send him a message and see what he chooses. Meanwhile, in the Swan Lake secret realm where the beast tide invaded, 60% of Anqing's army and all high-level martial artists above the martial master level had entered. This vanguard had one mission: to find out what the high-class magical beasts could do. A temporary military defensive line had already been established at the entrance of the secret realm. This was the final line of defense for Anqing. Mayor Huang Qing stood there proud, hoping that the vanguard could make it out alive. Suddenly, a martial artist with a severed arm and covered in blood stumbled out of the secret realm rift. He held a USB drive in his hand, which contained all the achievements of the vanguard. But where are the others? They're all dead. Mayor, the beast tide trampled everything. We couldn't even bring back the bodies. We must be careful of that blood-eyed black ape. It tricked us. Otherwise, at least a few thousand of us could have made it out alive. As he spoke, a huge stone cone spun out of the secret realm, directly piercing a large building in the distance. The debris from the damage had started to fall onto the defensive preparations. Countless buried landmines were being detonated. They were trying to blow up the unfinished defense. Damn it, it's an attack from the secret realm side. Tank company, don't hold back. Fire at the secret realm rift for me. The tanks and anti-aircraft guns in the rear instantly opened fire, and the soaring flames directly engulfed the secret realm rift. They're not sending out magical beasts, but first using long-range attacks to exhaust our strength. How can magical beasts use tactics like humans? Damn it, you damn beasts. Another wave of stone cones broke through the secret realm rift, crashing nearby the retreating tanks. In the dust, a dark silhouette moved. Magical beasts has broken into the defense. The rat-like magical beast had chomped the head of a martial artist clean off. The infiltrating magical beasts had then charged at the martial artists nearby. Huang Qing ordered the tanks to shoot the stone spikes, since that's how the magical beasts were infiltrating their defenses. But this also led to a decrease in the suppressive fire attacking the secret realm side. It's about time. The humans are already powerless to resist. Soldiers, trample that land for me. The beast tide rushed towards the secret realm rift. Emerging on the other side, the first line of defense outside the secret realm rift was now facing the beast tide. The white-furred giant ape king withstood the bombardment of several cannonballs as it charged out. The first line of defense was utterly destroyed. At this moment, I stood on the rooftop of a tall building. After today, who knows what Anqing will become? Anqing became a place I grew fond of. I naturally didn't want the city to be destroyed under the iron hooves of magical beasts. Without further thought, I roared and jumped down from the tall building, having activated Godzilla's bloodline awakening. In the midst of the battlefield, Luo Xian kicked the head of a magical beast. Kai Shaoling was also here to fight. Chu Zhou walked over, holding a blue third-tier magic core in his hand. As geniuses of the academy, they could have left, but they still chose to stay. Luo Xian suddenly looked up at the sky. A tank was soaring through the air, uncontrollably headed towards them. Just as the tank was about to crush the three into a meat pie, Chu Zhou instantly drew his sword. The blade slashed through the air, directly splitting the falling tank in two. Seeing the true culprit who had thrown the tank, Kai Shaoling's pupils shrank. It's the Lord-level magical beast that first rushed out of the secret realm. How did it get to the rear lines? The three had no time to think, because the white-furred ape had already raised its truck-sized fist and was smashing it down. Chu Zhou was stunned in place. There was no time to dodge at such a close distance. However, a black and blue meteor suddenly crashed into the white-furred ape's head, causing its head to flip and its entire body to topple over. In an instant, it stretched out its large hand to swat the figure away, but its huge palm was firmly held by my small palm, unable to move. I stepped on the white ape's jaw, prying its mouth open with immense force. "Open your mouth. I'll give you some oral care." As soon as my words fell, a brilliant blue stream of light shot from my mouth, directly into the white ape's fragile oral cavity. Kai Shaoling and Luo Xian were dumbfounded, looking at the familiar blue light, but Chu Zhou reassured them that it was just me. Chu Zhou, seeing the sight in front of him, thought that maybe Anqing could now be saved. "Chu Zhou, I'll leave this to you. I'm going to support other places." I then blasted off into the sky. With a better vantage point above the buildings, I used the life magnetic field ability to track down the biggest magical beast cluster. This was one of the defensive points closest to the secret realm rift. The martial artists equipped their swords and charged at the mammoth-like magical beast. However, they were met with its sharp tusks, ultimately perishing. The remaining martial artists and even ordinary soldiers had no intention of retreating. Even if it meant shedding their last drop of blood, they would never hand over this stronghold to the magical beasts. Suddenly, a large number of black-red demonic shadows appeared on the battlefield. They didn't attack humans but went to interfere with the beast horde. At the same time, time, a brilliant blue stream of light struck the mammoth magical beast. The mammoth magical beast let out a painful roar and dropped to the ground dead. At this moment, all the surrounding magical beasts besieged me. However, I was like an unstoppable missile as I unleashed the Thunder Fawn Cleave technique, causing a great explosion as I crashed into the ground. On the other side, in a different battlefield, the high-level magical beasts instantly realized my threat and decided to prioritize eliminating me. Anqing's top scholar has entered the battlefield. The magical beasts are all swarming towards him. We can't let him be overrun. Kill the runaway magical beasts. Protect our last hope. At this moment, a single atomic breath blast pierced through the head of a huge magical beast. The ground was littered with mangled corpses melted by nuclear radiation. My atomic breath swept through the battlefield, preventing the oncoming beast tide from reaching me. Meanwhile, the martial artists were standing their ground and protecting me. A Lord-class beast has locked onto Yi. Protect the pride of Anqing. Just then, a raging magical beast came rushing towards us. However, it was instantly stopped by gigantic golden walls. Huang Qing had made a perimeter of walls all around. This won't stop all the primal beasts. We need to take down the sovereign class to end this beast tide. A white-furred magical beast suddenly leaped with great force, wanting to jump out of the stone walls to attack Huang Qing, but as soon as it got close, it was blasted into smithereens by the energy he released. But suddenly, Huang Qing had sensed something at the secret realm rift. At this moment, a huge crocodile head barely squeezed out of the secret realm rift. The mountain-crushing crocodile, a 4th-tier king species lord class. However, if the strongest mount had arrived, it means the blood-eyed black ape was starting to get nervous. Huang Qing then placed his palms on the ground, and his endlessly powerful martial energy spread throughout the earth. The earth's crust in front rose by over 100 meters. The mountain-crushing dominator hammer technique collapsed towards the half-exposed head of the mountain-crushing crocodile like a tsunami. Facing the collapsing mountain, the mountain-crushing crocodile's deep green vertical pupils flashed with a hint of contempt. However, under the will of the mountain-crushing crocodile, the center of the rock and stone tsunami began to continuously shrink and gather, forming a huge stone ball. You think I don't know you have control over earth-type attacks? I'm using it for a reason, and you fell for my bait. Burst Martial, Serpent Surge. A spiral energy cone drilled into the magical beast. This was the outer peak earthquake strike. The crocodile's wails and roars echoed throughout Anqing, and the glass of the surrounding buildings was all shattered. The pain made the mountain-crushing crocodile completely enraged. The ground in a several hundred-meter radius instantly sprouted sharp stone thorns under its control, turning into a huge stone forest in the blink of an eye. Fortunately, Huang Qing had known this might happen and evacuated everyone in time. If your entire body had entered Anqing, I'd hardly damage you, but with only one head exposed, you're a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Huang Qing used several powerful martial techniques in a short period of time. The air was cut by his high-speed punches and kicks, creating flames, but this just made the mountain-crushing crocodile mad. Several spikes shot out from its body, making Huang Qing back off. But just as Huang Qing stopped on the giant crocodile's body to briefly catch his breath, a stone pillar behind him suddenly cracked, and an arm covered in black fur reached out, grabbing Huang Qing directly. Insignificant human, what are you doing to my mount? It was the blood-eyed black ape, hiding in the stone spikes. Now let me crush your head. Let me show you how powerless humans are in front of me. Just as Huang Qing's head was about to be crushed by the blood-eyed black ape, he instantly used a flash to dodge. I have confirmed that no one in this city can stop me. I can kill with no restraint now. Huang Qing's face was expressionless. Although the opponent's strength far surpassed his, he showed no fear at all. The next moment, countless wide and sharp stone knives gathered, forming a storm beast, the Blade Wind Tempest, which roared and swept towards the blood-eyed black ape. Your resistance is meaningless. You're just delaying your death. In its eyes, this was no longer a war, but a game to gradually make the humans feel fear and despair. The storm of stone knives rushed into the blood-eyed black ape, but it didn't even defend itself. The attack could not pierce its skin. Good speed, but the power is too weak. Huang Qing didn't respond but raised another sea of stones to attack the opponent. This one is powerful, but way too slow. The blood-eyed black ape easily maneuvered across the sea of stone, suddenly reappearing in front of Huang Qing. Kneel! I don't like lowly creatures looking at me at eye level. The blood-eyed black ape swung its arm, smashing Huang Qing to the ground. Although Huang Qing was severely injured by this blow, his weathered face was incomparably calm. You think you're so smart, but you still miscalculated. In the end, you're just an arrogant beast. Blood forbid dance technique. Earth vein seal. The ground turned into a quicksand with a terrifying suction force, trapping half of the blood-eyed black ape. Are you trying to seal me underground? How naive. Human, do you think you can trap me forever? As soon as this quicksand slackens even a little, I can break out and tear all the humans here to shreds. You're wrong. This isn't a backup plan. It's a hymn to humanity, a hymn to courage. After saying this, he suddenly struck, piercing his own heart. What are you trying to do? At the start of this war, I buried Anqing's only nuclear warhead underground, and it would trigger if my heart stops beating. You're bluffing. Who would bet their life on something like that? Do you think I'd fall for your bullshit? You see, I never planned to walk away from this. My name is Huang Qing, and I am the mayor of Anqing. I am willing to give everything for Anqing and its citizens, including my life, but I suppose I've finally finally done enough. The next second, the nuclear bomb buried underground was finally detonated. Endless light and heat instantly engulfed everything, including his and the blood-eyed black ape's bodies. The area of 1,000 meters in radius turned into a dark red lava pool. A towering mushroom cloud, like a tombstone, rose from the ground. The martial artists who had received the information and evacuated the nuclear blast range had tears in their eyes, all looking at the center of the nuclear blast with the utmost respect. In their eyes, this was a grand funeral. Soon after, in the boundless, dark red lava swamp, the blood-eyed black ape's skeleton, which had not yet been melted, suddenly moved. An orange magic core floated out from where its heart was originally located. The magic core released a soft glow and began to repair the broken skeleton. In a few minutes, the skeleton, which was about to be burned to charcoal, had grown a large amount of flesh and blood. The near-death blood-eyed black ape weakly opened its eyes, feeling the depleted life energy in its magic core, and was instantly enraged. I didn't expect to almost be taken out by the hands of humans. I will kill everyone in this city. I will torture all humans in the most cruel way. First, I'll return to the Sin Domain, our place of origin as magical beasts, and after I've recovered my energy and blood, I'll trample this place. Just then, I called out to the blood-eyed black ape, "Where do you think you're going?" The blood-eyed black ape had realized who I was, and knew he was in grave danger. "It's a shame I was too late, but I found you at last." I charged in with an atomic blast fist, blasting it with a great blue explosion. However, the magical beast was unshaken, even wanting to take the opportunity to kill me. "If you had run from the start, my mini-nuke might not have been able to hit you, but since you are so eager to die, you can have this instead." The blood-eyed black ape sensed the energy of the nuclear bomb, cursed under its breath, and urgently wanted to retreat, but I had already awakened my colossal titan bloodline, condensing blue nuclear energy in my center. In the moment the light ball was fully charged, it was immediately detonated, causing a massive blue explosion. Why did another nuclear bomb go off? Could it be a backup plan left by Mayor Huang Qing? After the nuclear explosion, the blood-eyed black ape was reduced to a withering mess. "You are just a monstrous being." My bloodline awakening's powers had fused together. This was the armored titan form. "You're more beastly than me. Even sovereign-class beasts don't carry an aura like yours. That's the difference. I'm not a bald chimp like you." I had lifted my giant foot while the blood-eyed black ape was stunned, and stomped at it with all my weight. However, the blood-eyed black ape managed to roll out of the range of the stomp. "It's useless to run, bald monkey." I swung my arm, as big as a great pillar, and used a black flash mountain blocking fist. The arrogant blood-eyed black ape couldn't tolerate the taunt of a martial apprentice and swung its arm. Our fists collided with a crash, and dark martial energy shot out. The next second, the blood-eyed black ape was sent flying in a straight line. It was a sovereign-class magical beast after all. Even severely injured, it wasn't something I could easily suppress. Despite my bloodline awakenings, our clash had still damaged my arm, but this damage was still effortlessly regenerated. The blood-eyed black ape, seeing how difficult I was to deal with, finally gave up the idea of killing me. The blood-eyed black ape had now sprinted towards the horizon, but behind him, I was already charging another blast. "You don't deserve to stain Mayor Huang Qing's sacrifice." The atomic blast was unleashed towards the running blood-eyed black ape, engulfing its whole being as it cursed me away. After taking a hit from my atomic breath, the blood-eyed black ape burrowed underground and played dead. However, it could not escape my life magnetic field. Now that it was gravely injured, it's easier to track, unlike before. "Found you, you damn monkey." I grinned and fired another atomic breath at it. The next moment, the explosive energy directly cut open the surface of the ground, blasting the blood-eyed black ape out of the soil layer. Damn it, just a little bit more. I could already feel the entrance to the Sin Domain was not far away. If I hadn't been tricked by that damn human mayor. Suddenly, my huge fist was already smashing towards it. With a loud bang, the black ape was once again slammed into the ground. "This is the price for defiling Mayor Huang's name. I will make you wish you were dead." Being repeatedly chased and beaten by a young martial artist had already made the black ape feel extremely ashamed and angry. "I'll burn the last of my magic core's energy and drag you to hell." It squeezed the last bit of energy from its magic core, in exchange for its right arm temporarily recovering nearly half of its strength. "You despicable worm. Go to hell." I was not afraid at all, and my fist, wrapped in a gust of air, also smashed towards him. The large and small fists collided, and the terrifying force squeezed all the surrounding air, forming a temporary vacuum. However, my arm that had clashed with the blood-eyed black ape's fist exploded. Blood and gore rained down, creating a bloody rain in this nuclear wasteland. On the other hand, even the blood-eyed black ape was too severely injured after that clash. It was finally at the end of its rope. My atomic breath charged to maximum, but before the breath could be released, a sharp pain suddenly shot through my mind. This was a mental attack by a different creature. The ground in the wasteland was now covered with delicate hands. Don't even think about escaping. I tried to grab the blood-eyed black ape, but there were also hands between my joints, restraining my movement. "You think you can trap me like this?" My bloodline awakening form had began to erupt in flames. The hands that were restraining me had no chance. Taste the burn of flames at 1,000 degrees. At this moment, the blood-eyed black ape was now almost to the entrance of the secret realm rift, but then he saw the sight before him. The burning colossal titan was closing in with a terrifying flaming aura. The blood-eyed black ape began to panic, ordering the hands to hurry up his escape. But just then, a form of a woman peeked through the secret realm rift. What the hell is that thing? Is it also a magical beast? With power that terrifying, it must be a sovereign class too. If its true form appeared, I'd probably be on my knees immediately. The woman's head seemed to sense my approach. She opened her mouth and let out a loud scream. The scream managed to get through the colossal titan's layers and reach my mind. I couldn't take it anymore, and my human body had pierced through my colossal titan's flesh. You've killed so many people, and you think you can just leave Anshin like that? You've got to be kidding me. I roared, pouring all my atomic energy into the giant's body. Nuclear energy overflowed within the colossal titan's body. I also ejected from the volatile body. This is a local specialty from our hometown, a nuclear bomb. I hope you like it. A dazzling blue-white light engulfed everything. The woman's head stared at me, her eyes filled with endless anger. The blue-white light passed through the secret realm rift, dispersing the lingering smoke from the nuclear explosion, like a small sun rising in a nuclear wasteland. This obvious anomaly was quickly noticed by the martial artists several kilometers away. Look at the secret realm rift. It seems to have exploded. Even the spectating martial artists were dumbfounded. After the blood-eyed black ape died, the number of magical beasts that were constantly pouring into Anshin through the secret realm rift began to decrease. The martial artists of Anshin began to surround and kill the magical beasts roaming the city. This siege lasted for a day and a night, and it wasn't until all the findable magical beasts were killed that the exhausted martial artists stopped. The battle to defend Anshin was finally won, even at the heavy cost of nearly 80% of the martial artists and soldiers being killed or injured. Meanwhile, inside the Swan Lake secret realm, at the site of the final nuclear blast, I had woken up from a coma, finally opening my eyes. Although I had poured all the nuclear energy in my body into the colossal titan to trigger a nuclear explosion, this place itself was full of fresh nuclear radiation and residual atomic fission energy. It was like recharging on the spot after running out of battery. This battle was too difficult. It was thanks to Mayor Huang Qing that I could do what I did. Although my infinite monster template is strong, it is still far from being a match for a sovereign class magical beast. This victory was due to the right time, the right place, and luck. I need more time to grow, but this nationwide secret realm riot has also given me a sense of urgency. I don't know when I'll be able to draw the next template, but fusing with the Godzilla Earth template is the fastest way for me to become a top-tier powerhouse. Perhaps being transported into this world was part of my destiny. A month passed in a flash after the beast tide. I learned about the damage to other cities from the news. In Guangshan City, an S-rank secret realm appeared that was shrouded in an impenetrable gray fog. The National Martial Artist Organization, the Great Xia Dragon Sparrow, dispatched 30 Xuanwu martial artists and 5 Grandmaster experts, led by the senior Grandmaster Du Jingming, to investigate. The unusual event prompted the strongest nation guardian martial artist, Fu Hongsheng, to act, but the aftermath of his expedition, he was severely wounded and only 2 Grandmasters survived with him. As such, Guangshan City was labeled as a danger zone with millions of casualties. Even a nation guardian martial artist was severely injured. As the human survival situation becomes so urgent, I can't wait any longer. After turning off the news, I directly called Qin Lan, saying I wanted to ask her for a favor. Qin Lan thought I wanted to learn the remaining 2 profound yellow martial techniques of the Lu family. No, I want to ask you to help me purchase some high-quality plant attribute magic cores, preferably blue magic cores, or even purple lord-class magic cores. Plant-type magical beasts are already rare, and lord-level magic cores are even more precious. You have grand ambitions. Since you want so much, what can you offer in return? Imperial University has a freshman secret realm assessment every year at the beginning of the school year. I can team up with Lu Qingzhu and help her get first place. You're underestimating the genius top scholars from other provinces and cities, aren't you? I can tell you that Qingzhu's strength wouldn't even be in the upper echelons. Although you suppressed her in the arena match with Qingzhu, you are still a bit behind the top-tier prodigies. But Aunt Qin, you can only bet the revival of the Lu family on me, right? I can write an IOU. If I fail to get first place among the freshmen, I will come to the Lu family to be your workhorse and take care of you in your old age. A workhorse, you'll serve and do menial tasks. Fine, I'll help you one more time for now. After finishing the call with Qin Lan, I went to the hospital to visit Chuzhou. Many people on the road recognized me, and some avid fans even came up to ask for my autograph. As soon as I entered the hospital room, I couldn't help but laugh out loud at Chuzhou's state. Beside Chuzhou was Luo Xian, whose leg got amputated during the battle, but will get surgery to recover. While visiting, we received a phone call. It was from the head of admissions at Imperial University, informing Chuzhou and me that the university would be starting a month early, and a special train would come to pick us up in 3 days. With school starting soon, I still had important things to do. I then said goodbye to Chuzhou and rushed to the old site of Swan Lake, because the massive mushroom cloud from the nuclear explosion had thrown hundreds of tons of dust into the clouds. My main purpose in coming here was to absorb the residual nuclear radiation and increase my strength, but this could also be considered helping Anshin solve a nuclear contamination source. While in the Godzilla state, I began to try to use my martial energy to guide the radiation energy in the air into my body. In just 3 days, my compatibility with the Godzilla template reached 38.9%. Unfortunately, it was time for me to go. With atomic energy, I blasted off into the sky. Soon after, at the Anqing high-speed rail station, the special train from Imperial University was about to arrive. Chu Zhou, who had packed his luggage, was waiting by the tracks. Soon enough, I descended into the train station. How lucky. I made it in time. You've gotten stronger again. I took one last look at the city being rebuilt and then strode towards the train platform. Goodbye, Anqing. Imperial City, here we come. A moment later, the golden and red train of Imperial University pulled into the station. Chu Zhou and I entered the train together. The train was already filled with many people, mostly top scholars from various cities. The entire train was made of the most advanced structures and materials, easily capable of withstanding the impact of several thousand tons of force. On top of that, there were high-level martial artists as escorts inside the train, but I had actually already known this with my life magnetic field. But just then, a level 1 alert sounded out inside the train. The Imperial City train was under attack by an unknown enemy. The Imperial City train was under attack by an unknown enemy. The professor and other teachers are investigating the situation. All other students, please evacuate the carriages as soon as possible. Do not engage the enemy. The entire carriage was silent for a moment, then became extremely chaotic. The freshmen were discussing the current situation. Meanwhile, Chu Zhou turned to me and asked what I thought. Let's get out of the train first, or go to other carriages to see the situation. We walked forward along the carriages. When we reached the 5th carriage, we met a freshman who was covered in blood and looked terrified. The enemy has already taken over the first 3 carriages. The opponent has a special domain that can pull people into an independent space. There are also terrifying enemies inside chasing everyone. The martial artists and teachers worked together to send me out of that domain and told me to tell you to run quickly. This is not a drill. Hearing this, many of the freshmen who wanted to investigate the situation were stunned. But a freshman, Yin Xiangxin, complained, "Where's the proof? If you say there's danger ahead, you should show some proof. I have a friend I know well in the front carriages, and his strength is enough to compete for the top freshman spot. I don't believe you could get out." But he couldn't. After Yin Jingxiong finished speaking, he strode towards the front carriages. Many freshmen who supported the trial theory followed behind him, preparing to go and see what was happening. "Yuri, right. A girl named Lu Qingzhu showed me your photo. She told me to tell you not to go to the front carriages. Is that what she told you?" "That's right. To cover for me, she was severely injured by a single slash. I can't persuade those people who are seeking death, but I must fulfill that girl's last wish and make sure you survive." "Damn it, she's not even dead yet, and you're already talking about her last wish." With that, I directly ran towards the front carriages with Chu Zhou. "This should be the so-called separate space entrance the freshman mentioned, right?" I casually picked up a heavy object and threw it in, but no sound came out, as if the thrown object had been silently swallowed. Even the life magnetic field couldn't penetrate this hazy color to sense anything. But many freshmen had just walked this way, so it seemed they had all gone in. "Interesting, let's go in." Chu Zhou and I then stepped into the chaotic thin film. Underneath me was a thin curving pathway. Wait, we came inside together, but now Chu Zhou is gone. However, I just continued towards the light at the end of the path. What the hell is this freaky place? And it seems like my life magnetic field still was being blocked, and so I flew high in the sky, landing on top of a skyscraper. Don't play tricks on me. I gathered my martial energy into a ball and filled it with unstable atomic energy. I'll blow this damn place up. The next moment, the energy ball was thrown into the clouds. The massive light and heat dispersed the surrounding gray clouds, and the explosion in the air instantly broke the city's silence. The Imperial University freshmen hiding in various corners were all dumbfounded when they saw it. In the distance, Chu Zhou raised his sword and quickly rushed towards the location of the explosion. In a certain building, the pale-faced Lu Qingzhu watched the blue glowing explosion in the sky and also knew that I had entered the scene. At this moment, watching the restless city, I understood that my position was exposed to everyone. What I attracted was not only teammates but also enemies who had already arrived. The person was wearing a pig head mask and holding a blood-stained sharp knife. "Damn bastard, playing mysterious. I'll rip your mask off." My fist connected right at the pig's mask, blasting it with my atomic punch. The mask menacingly burns with blue nuclear energy. Just then, the sharp knife in the pig-headed man's hand stabbed out at an even faster speed, directly ignoring Godzilla's skin defense and piercing my abdomen. He exerted force with his arm, wanting to cut my body open, but he couldn't succeed. The sharp knife was actually stuck by my rapidly self-healing muscle layer. "Your strength isn't great, but your weapon is very special, seemingly able to ignore defense. What the hell are you? Open your mouth obediently and let me check you out properly." With that, I directly released atomic breath down his throat, ripping his head off as his body burned away. There's something inside the headpiece. It was a pendant with a marking, so I thought that this might be a trial by the Imperial City, where we get loot for beating monsters. Just then, the weapon stabbed into me had started to disappear, since the wielder infused it with his martial energy. Suddenly, an arrow suddenly shot towards the back of my head. However, a ferocious and evil shadow instantly shot out from my body, blocking the attack. I then looked in the direction the arrow came from and saw a chicken-headed figure. However, a spear tip emerged from the ground, and the new enemy even continued its attack with multiple arrows. Unable to stop, I had ran right into the spears that split, stopping my tracks. Just then, I began to form my Colossal Titan. The Colossal Titan's form continued to assemble, hurling a fist right at the enemy, crashing all the way down to the first floor. I want to see who this guy is, the one who nearly skewered me. I then noticed the rabbit head, which makes me feel uneasy as well, having noted their connection to the zodiac signs. Just then, the muscles on the rabbit's leg grew tenfold, gathering his force. Like a bullet, the rabbit had hurled itself towards me, but all it met was a kick as it flipped away. What the hell? It knows martial arts. As the spear of the rabbit got closer, an ice wall suddenly formed right in front of me, blocking the attack. And then, a thick ice wall created a perimeter around the rabbit, trapping him there. That was close. Leave this rabbit to me. Chuzhou's ice sword instantly stabbing towards the rabbit-headed man. However, the rabbit-headed man's reaction was also extremely fast. In an instant, their weapons clashed dozens of times. However, Chuzhou managed to trap the spear in ice, and with a palm strike, had blasted the rabbit-headed man away, crashing into my Colossal Titan, and my huge bone palm, grabbing towards him, crushing him to death, and causing a great explosion. Meanwhile, elsewhere, why is there no movement? He must be dead. Those masked men weren't even injured when we surrounded them. Their weapons can break through any defense. We can't handle them with our level. The guy who came in and shot cannons into the sky was too arrogant. He must be a student from a small place who got into Imperial University. Scholars from big cities are on another level entirely. I heard Yan Jingxiong and Ouyangze of Modu, Lan Yusi of Shindu, and Xian Chen of Lili Island have already begun hunting masked men. I can't imagine how they managed it. In the past, freshman presidents have all been locals of Imperial City. In front of those Imperial prodigies, their conversation was interrupted by a loud noise. They looked up at the sky and were dumbfounded. What was that ridiculously powerful beam of light just now? A railgun? Don't be ridiculous. How could there be a railgun here? Others in the city also stopped in their tracks, silently watching the exaggerated beam of light in the sky. Ouyangze, what do you think? This attack style doesn't seem like the masked men's. It's most likely the work of a freshman. A freshman, besides those few from the Imperial capital. How could anyone else possess such exaggerated power? We have to go. After all, I've already collected the pendants for the rat, dog, monkey, and horse. Lan Yusi from Shindu has at least one goat pendant, and Xian Chen from Lili Island has at least one snake pendant. A girl named Lu Qingzhu also seems to have taken down the ox-headed man and got the ox pendant. If the masked men are really arranged according to the 12 zodiac signs, then only the pig, rabbit, chicken, tiger, and dragon pendants are left. As for the dragon, you know that monster. It's a touch-and-eye situation, a boss we can only run from, not fight. And the remaining pendants, the freshman who released that blue beam of light definitely has a few. Xian Chen and Lan Yusi will probably be attracted there too. Jingxiong, this game has entered the final round. If we want to win, we can only snatch them from others. At this moment, I was now in possession of Rabbit Pendant. Before you came, I had already taken down a guy wearing a pig head mask and got a pendant from his mask. If I'm not mistaken, this trial should be about collecting all the pendants from the animal heads. So we should go and actively look for the masked men? That's right. Just now on the rooftop, another guy shot a hidden arrow at me. He should also be a masked man. Although he escaped in the chaos, his arrow hit me, so I can track him through it. The two of us then quickly gave chase, arriving soon after. Something's not right. There are traces of a battle here. Someone beat us to it. This scorch mark is still warm. The other party hasn't gone far. They should be nearby. Hearing my words, Chuzhou's ice elemental dragon bloodline had instinctually reacted to something. Relying on his senses, he instinctively slashed his sword in a certain direction. A 10-meter high ice spike rose from the ground, crashing straight into a certain spot in the air. My optical camouflage was actually discovered. You're up to no good if you're hiding in the shadows. Get out of the way. Gene technique. Flame demon battle body. His palm quickly turned as red and bright as a branding iron, and he met the incoming ice cone head-on with his palm. Lan Yusi, your optical camouflage is too weak if you've been found. I question whether the two of them were ambushing us. Little brother, you've misunderstood. We dealt with a guy in a chicken mask and were hiding just to bait out more. Xian Chen casually lit a cigarette with a snap of his fingers. Then what does this mean? I said, then suddenly reached out and grabbed the air nearby, revealing an invisible clone. Even my clone was discovered. It seems these guys have some skill. Then, I guess it's my turn. Suddenly, his cheeks suddenly puffed up. Then he spewed a large cloud of black smoke towards me and Chuzhou. Seeing this, I instantly retreated with Chuzhou. Just then, Lan Yusi took out a yellow fan with glowing runes and fanned the black smoke Xian Chen had spewed, and in a blink, it had engulfed us. It's not over yet. Let me add some fire for you. The black smoke instantly ignited, turning into a fiery cloud, and the scorching temperature twisted the air into a knot. So what if you have skills? You still can't beat us? However, I replied to them still, what the hell are you laughing about? With a strong and loud clap, the smoke and fire quickly dissipated from the air pressure. Just clapping was enough to dispel my fire cloud. Suddenly, I instantly smashed my fist into his face. He was sent flying in a straight line, rolled a few times, and crashed a distance away. Lan Yusi began to panic, worrying about how there's no way to deal with with me, but lost in thought. She didn't realize she was already trapped in ice. She knew that even with a team up, they couldn't defeat any one of us. Lan Yusi cried out in alarm, waved her fan with all her might. The ice under her feet was cut by the wind blades, and her body was then lifted by the wind, wanting to retreat. However, I was quick to grab her ankle. "Get down here!" I roared and slammed Lan Yusi to the ground. Seeing that I was about to throw another punch, Lan Yusi created multiple clones and tried to escape. However, I unleashed the vengeful spirits inside my body, and it had quickly subdued all of her clones. "You can't win, and you can't run. Just accept it." Lan Yusi, in despair, directly chose to surrender and took out the goat and chicken pendants she had obtained. From her, I learned that to win this trial, one had to collect all 12 pendants. Now, in the late stage of the trial, even if you didn't actively rob others, others would actively come to rob you. Ouyang Zhe and Yen Jingxiong from Modu were the top freshmen in this batch. They had probably already snatched a lot of pendants. "How about it? Do you need me to take you to find Ouyang Zhe and Yen Jingxiong?" Lan Yusi understood that she had no hope of winning, so she might as well stir up trouble and let us kill each other. "You don't need to worry about that. I think your fan is not bad." Meanwhile, Yen Jingxiong and Ouyang Zhe were rushing towards this direction. Although they knew that Xian Chen and Lan Yusi had probably already gone over, it didn't matter to them. They were extremely confident that no matter who won, they could just snatch the pendants from the other's hands. Before they reached their destination, the two suddenly stopped. In front of them was a corpse that had been cut in half at the waist, Xian Chen's face still showing extreme fear. Just a few minutes ago, Xian Chen, who had been sent flying by a single punch, had landed in a trash pile far away. He understood that he couldn't beat me, so he wanted to team up with Ouyang Zhe and the other. But before he could act, a figure holding a tang knife suddenly appeared behind him. The figure was wearing a majestic and ferocious dragon mask, and his eyes were actually double-pupiled. Xian Chen understood that this was the dragon-masked man. In the blink of an eye, he was cut in half at the waist. Now, the dragon-masked man was in possession of the snake and tiger pendant. Upon inspection, the two also recognized that this was done by the dragon-masked man. Isn't the dragon mask only able to operate in that underground parking garage? At that time, I even brought more than 20 followers to the underground parking garage to find you, and we met that dragon. Only the two of us escaped alive. I can't believe that guy would actually kill people. Wasn't it supposed to be a trial? But that hot blood didn't seem fake. What now? It seems the pendant on Xian Chen was also taken. Dragon Mask likely left the underground garage because we freshmen triggered a condition, perhaps killing all the masked men, freeing him to move. Just as the Zodiac masked men hunt freshmen, he may now actively target us pendant holders. He's impossible to fight against. We must get the pendants from the others before Dragon Mask does. We can't let the pendants fall into Dragon Mask's hands. After Ouyang Zhe finished speaking, he activated his bloodline awakening, the golden winged dragon rock. He decided to actively release a signal to attract the other pendant holders for a decisive battle. His golden wings flapped lightly, and he flew high into the sky, letting out a provocative cry. Lu Qingzhu, drawn into the dead city with the Imperial University train's first carriage, fought alongside two freshmen to kill an ox-headed man. She then stumbled into an underground garage, where the dragon mask struck her down before she barely escaped, gravely wounded. Learning I was also inside, she planned to recover before seeking me out, but then a fierce cry of a kindred bloodline made her heart seize. Lu Qingzhu wondered if she had been discovered. Despite not being able to fight, she strengthened her resolve, trying to lure them to her, since she thought I might need the pendants. Ouyang Zhe had sensed Lu Qingzhu. From the entrance exam, he realized their bloodlines shared a heritage. He also noticed that the ox pendant was with her, and that she was moving towards the Dragon Mask's parking lot. But he knew the Dragon Mask wasn't there anymore, and decisively headed her direction. Ouyang Zhe crashed through several floors in pursuit of his target. Lu Qingzhu, you can't hide. Come out. Just as he finished speaking, a sense of fatal crisis suddenly filled Ouyang Ze's heart. In the darkness ahead, a pair of eerie, blood-red double pupils were staring intently at him. And then he realized a devastating truth. The Dragon Mask was hunting the pendants, so naturally he would prioritize the one that has the most. Ouyang Ze wanted to escape from here as soon as possible, but he was forcibly pulled into the other's domain space. He could only leave if a certain condition was met, or if he defeated the caster, Dragon Mask. The next moment, Dragon Mask's figure instantly disappeared and reappeared in front of Ouyang Ze, launching an attack. Ouyang Ze could only focus on defending himself. Dragon Mask's attacks became increasingly sharp and fierce, continuing its assault. Meanwhile, on the outside, I punched Yen Jingxiong with a disdainful look on my face. So it's you, making a server-wide taunt here? Eehee, leave this person to me. I want to test my strength. You think you've got me? Don't be so arrogant. Chu Zhou's expression remained calm as he drew his sword, and a pillar of ice had appeared where the sword had struck. Where are you running to? He skillfully retracted his force in midair. He once again chopped at Chu Zhou from another angle. Chu Zhou instantly shut off his five senses and entered a profound state of unity between man and sword. The broken cold sword in his hand unleashed a pure sword gleam, which violently collided with the broadsword imbued with a tiger's roar. The sword energy and blade energy fought each other, and the sounds of a dragon's roar and a tiger's roar echoed through half the street. At this moment, Yen Jingxiong suddenly sensed sensed Ouyangze's aura calling for help. He had no desire to continue fighting the Chu Zhou in front of him. If I wasn't in a hurry this time, I would have broken at least 8 of your bones. You're going to talk trash and then just leave? Did I say you could go? I struck him with a powerful atomic blast, sending him away. You ambushed me. But I replied, this isn't a sneak attack. It's just that your brain is too slow to react to my fist. Arrogant bastard. I'll take your life. But in the next moment, he was beaten black and blue by me and was lying on the ground again. This weapon has a good weight to it. I'd like to borrow it. You don't mind, do you? But it still needs a little strengthening. I fused my martial energy with it, and black scale spikes formed at the base. Although there was no zodiac jade pendant, there was a pendant that seemed to be sending a signal. Ouyangze barely lasted a few minutes against Dragon Mask, his golden wings and one arm being severed from the fight. He had exhausted all his life-saving measures, even using the energy-locking nail, a relic from a secret realm ruin. It could seal an opponent's martial energy if it struck the heart, but unfortunately, he had missed by inches. Ouyangze had now accepted his own fate. A few breaths later, the lights in the underground parking garage turned on again. At this moment, the winged Ouyangze had been pierced through the heart and nailed to the wall. On the other side, Lu Qingzhu quickly left the underground parking garage and ran towards the rooftop. She understood that Ouyangze couldn't last long, and she didn't have the strength to run far either. To survive, she could only find a way to get me to come and take her away. She was going to send out a signal to me using her bloodline awakening, Nether Sparrow. She gathered her remaining energy to let out a cry. However, just then, the sound of a blade dragging on the ground suddenly sounded. She stood on the edge of the rooftop in disbelief and looked down. She saw Dragon Mask approaching her vertically on the surface of the building. She could not believe she was found so quickly and wanted to send another signal, but it was too late. The domain had already been activated. Dragon Mask entered the blackened domain, raising its weapon up with a menacing grin. Lu Qingzhu knew she could not dodge this attack, but suddenly, the domain around them started to crack. Suddenly, I broke into the domain with an incomparably barbaric posture. I promised your parents, and I keep my word. The Dragon Mask immediately noticed my presence. As for you, what even are you? A rolling baleful aura and martial energy rich in atomic energy were poured into the broadsword, slashing towards the opponent. The force was strong enough to split the building in half. Chu Zhou and my new little brother are in the alley to the east. You go there first. I'll deal with this guy wearing the Dragon Mask. After instructing Lu Qingzhu, I turned into a blue meteor and flew directly towards Dragon Mask's position below. After landing on the ground, I found that Dragon Mask was now bare-chested, his clothes completely destroyed by the crescent moon black flash just now. I keenly noticed that there was a bronze nail stuck in his chest. That nail, could it be the plan Yan Jingxiong mentioned that could solve Dragon Mask? Just then, the Dragon Mask moved so fast that it left after images. I instinctively sensed danger and quickly swung the black scale reinforced broadsword to block. Dazzling sparks flickered continuously, and the swords were glowing with martial energy. The Dragon Mask overpowered me and threw me to the ground, but in the dust, a blue glow emerged, and an atomic breath pierced through multiple floors, directly hitting the Dragon Mask. It seems like I've finally encountered a worthy opponent. However, the Dragon Mask still managed to get back up, still ready to fight. That's more like it. The invincible boss Dragon Mask wouldn't be defeated so easily. Just then, Dragon Mask's figure flickered and attacked again. The entire street instantly cracked, and I was pushed back continuously by his relentless slashes. After his mask was broken, not only his speed but also his strength has increased. The broadsword in my hand couldn't withstand such high-intensity slashes and broke in half. At that moment, Dragon Mask accelerated in an instant, appearing behind me. However, I had bitten down on the blade to prevent the attack. I finally got you. I then delivered an uppercut with atomic energy directly to Dragon Mask's chin. The mask on his face was completely shattered. Not giving him any chance to breathe, I grabbed Dragon Mask's sword-wielding arm with one hand. I reeled back my fist, ready to strike, and a barrage of attacks hit directly at the vital points of the Dragon Mask. This attack, in addition to the energy-suppressing nail, would surely cause deep internal destruction. But even so, he still maintained a strong killing intent and hostility towards me, his long sword slashing at my chest from a tricky angle. Seeing this, I quickly took out the yellow fan and directly blocked his attack. Your best chance to kill me was at the beginning, but now you only have a 30% chance of defeating me. With the rapid fanning of the fan, a crimson whirlwind instantly rose from the ground, engulfing the Dragon Mask. The dark red wind blades continuously cut at Dragon Mask's body, and the suction force of the strong wind threw him dozens of meters into the air. I leaped into the air, transforming into a dazzling blue meteor and arriving in front of Dragon Mask. First punch, an atomic blast fist. With a loud boom, the violent atomic explosion erupted. Dragon Mask was now falling in a daze. I once again caught up to the falling Dragon Mask. Second punch, mountain blocking fist black flash. The Dragon Mask bounced between the buildings, finally crashing into a wall. I thought you would be more powerful than this, Dragon Mask. The Dragon Mask still tried to move to attack, but in an instant, I had already decapitated him. His lifeless body remained pinned to the wall as his head fell to the ground. I finally have the Dragon Pendant. It's time to end this game. At this moment, all the freshmen had witnessed my powerful strength. Yan Jingxiong didn't even even dare to look at me directly. You shouldn't have gone to fight that dragon mask alone. Besides, if we had gone up, we would have only been a hindrance. With our strength, we wouldn't even have been qualified to assist. We would have just been killed by dragon mask. Lu Qingzhu fell silent because Chu Zhou was right. She herself was so injured that she couldn't even perform a martial technique. For the first time, she had a heartfelt desire to become stronger, at least not to drag a certain someone down. What are you thinking about? The ox pendant. Can I borrow it for a bit? I arranged all the pendants in the order of the 12 zodiacs, from rat to pig, but nothing happened. This most special dragon mask was not designed as a huntable masked man at all, but a hunter specifically to kill pendant holders. In that case, to clear the game normally, we probably don't need to add the dragon pendant, right? I heard this and took out the dragon pendant, rearranging them in the order of rat to pig again. The next moment, the entire city space began to tremble violently. The gray fog in the sky began to swirl into a vortex, thunder striking the tops of the buildings, and a huge, white gold pupil appeared in the center of the vortex. After seeing the white gold pupil in the center of the vortex, I felt as if the world had turned upside down, and my body was actually falling from the ground towards the pupil in the sky. When I opened my eyes again, I found that I was still sitting in my seat on the Imperial University train. Everything that had just happened seemed like a dream. Just then, a broadcast announcement suddenly sounded. All students, please do not be alarmed. You are all just drawn into a dream illusion created by the artifact Mirage Eye. This is this year's Imperial University freshman trial. Please relax. A special announcement. In this freshman trial, the team of Ihi from Anshan collected all the zodiac pendants and took first place. Among them, student Ihi's performance was outstanding. A special reward will be sent after enrollment. After the train broadcast ended, the carriage was silent for a moment, and then an even more clamorous debate erupted. As the center of the candidates' discussion, I sat silently in my seat, completely ignoring the discussions around me, because my monster template finally had a new prompt. Congratulations to the host for suppressing all freshmen in the Imperial Mirage Eye trial. You are rewarded with one template draw. Immediately after, I had used it and drawn a new monster template. This new draw was the D-class magical beast, Vampire Dio Brando, with the bloodline abilities, blood manipulation and immortal body, and after evolving, this bloodline could even stop time. Just as I was overjoyed, Ouyang suddenly walked over to talk to me. Ihi, you beat Dragon Mask? It wasn't beating him, it was killing him. Beating and killing are two different levels of difficulty. Ouyang, who had personally fought against Dragon Mask twice, naturally understood the significance of this. I plan to establish a new club at Imperial University, different from the student union, and I hope you will join. I will support you as the president. For years, the positions of top freshman and student union president have been firmly held by students from the Imperial capital. Ihi, your strength has shown me an opportunity to break this Imperial University tradition. Join us. The students were surprised that the arrogant Ouyang would actually do this. Sorry, I'm not interested in competing with the student union or establishing organizations. I prefer to be a lone wolf. He smiled and handed me a business card. Ihi, we will always look forward to cooperating with you. Soon after, the train finally arrived safely at its destination, Imperial City. A big city was indeed different. Soaring skyscrapers pierced the clouds, and the flowing light strips on the buildings formed unique light trails, decorating the city's night sky like a sci-fi dream. After the train stopped at the Imperial Capital high-speed rail station, we were taken to a helipad where a levitating passenger plane was parked. All students, please board the plane in an orderly manner. Hearing the prompt, I directly poked Lu Qingzhu in the lower back. What are you doing? We're still outside. Lu Qingzhu's face turned red, because her mother reminded her that they were only fiancé in name, so they shouldn't be too close in public. I asked in confusion, I wanted to ask you, why are we taking a plane? Because Imperial University is in the sky. The plane that we boarded emerged from the clouds, revealing the Imperial University in the sky. I had realized that there was an electromagnetic field surrounding the university. It even decreased my life magnetic field's effectiveness. Upon disembarking the place, the students received their own student identification cards. Next, the freshmen all took the maglev train on campus to the student dormitories. The student dormitory was a skyscraper with over 100 floors. My room was on the 42nd floor, and Chu Zhou's was on the 45th. I was amazed upon entering the room. Not only was it nearly 100 square meters, but it also came with the latest model of computer and a massage bathtub in the restroom. There was no time to experience these configurations now, because I had more important things to do. Max out the Vampire Dio's template first. By scanning the student ID, I was able to open the Imperial Pass application. This application served as the Academy's marketplace, which had its own currency. Unfortunately, the conversion rate was abysmal. However, the actual items in the market were all top tier, so I prioritized buying blood attribute magic cores, which was enough to reach 100% compatibility with the Vampire Dio monster template. In just a few moments, a drone arrived at the window with a package. I opened the package and swallowed the magic cores in one go. A powerful energy entered my stomach and was quickly converted into nutrients, appearing on the panel's compatibility. The template Dio Brando was now at 100% compatibility, and the bloodline ability, the world time stop, has been unlocked. As the prompt sounded, my body also began to change. My skin became paler, my 2 canine teeth became sharper, and blood grooves even appeared on the back of my canine teeth. I opened my hand and saw that the nails on my 5 fingers were growing at a visible rate. After observing for a moment, I suddenly had a bold idea. Then, without any hesitation, I suddenly stabbed my hand into my own throat. But not only did I not die, the wound healed completely in a few seconds. The self-healing speed was even faster than Godzilla's self-healing speed before. The vampire's abilities were not bad. I nodded in satisfaction and then began to test my new ability. Entering the training room, I began to unleash my skill, the ability to manifest an exterior physical fighting spirit, known as a stand. This was the stand, the world, and I had to find out how strong it could be. Come on, punch me. The world swung its gauntlet fist, breaking the sound barrier, and struck me fiercely. The bones in my arms completely shattered as I crashed into the wall of the room. Next, I tested the next ability. Time, stop. The world. With a buzz, a gray spherical domain began to expand from me as the center. The domain stayed strong for a few seconds, but it began to crack by the 5th second, but I still tried to push through. By 5.2 seconds, my blood was already bursting out of me. Finally, it reached 5.7 seconds before the time stop domain completely shattered, and I understood that the 5-second limit was for the original host's limit, but I still had potential to grow. Time quickly passed to the next day. Chuzhou and I entered the Imperial University campus together. After fusing with the vampire bloodline, although the sunlight didn't harm me at all, I still inexplicably began to dislike the sun. Chuzhou told me that this year, Imperial University had changed its past class-based learning model to a small group mentor system. It was basically following a main mentor for each academic year, during which one could also seek guidance from assistant mentors. Other freshmen needed to find a mentor after the start of the school year, but I didn't have to. As the one who had collected all the zodiac pendants, I had the right to directly choose any mentor, and the mentor couldn't refuse. All the way to the stadium, I found a long queue outside. Generally, 3 people would enter the stadium for an assessment as a group, and then the mentors would light up their lights to choose them. Chuzhou, you go in first. I'm going to wander around somewhere else. Since I can choose any mentor, it doesn't matter when I go in. After saying goodbye to Chuzhou, I left the stadium, but I suddenly caught a faint smell of blood. This smell of blood contained a hidden yet ferocious killing intent and sin, which actually stirred the murderous aura in my body. I followed the scent, and finally seeing the source of the aura in a small alley. Surprisingly, the trail led to a little girl that was eating a sweet potato. I never expected that this cute little girl would have such a terrifying aura. Hey kid, you've practiced the devil in the flesh? How did you know? Because I was the one who helped Lu Qinghu perfect this martial technique. I heard this and immediately thought of the ferocious man in the martial rhyme space. Lu Qinghu, he was my disciple over 90 years ago. Are you kidding me? Sure, martial artists can live beyond normal limits, and grandmasters stay in their prime even in their 80s or 90s. But you're just a kid who hasn't even grown up. A martial artist with special techniques could alter their bones to appear childlike, but the pure, almost naive innocence of this white-haired girl couldn't be faked, not even by an Oscar-level actor. You don't believe me? I began to mock the little girl. Before I could finish my sentence, I sensed incredible danger, like my head was in a guillotine. The purity of this killing intent was so high that it made me hallucinate the scene of my own head falling off. I was speechless when I came back to my senses. Just as I was about to use my time-stopping ability subconsciously, a candy was suddenly stuffed into my mouth. Sorry, kid, I think I went a little too far. Please don't report me to the school, okay? I can only come out for an hour or 2 a week. I'm very pitiful. Just who are you? My name is Gongku, and I'm a very powerful grandmaster. Let me tell you a secret. The principal of Imperial University, that guy Shi Jingwen, I even made him cry when he was a kid. I have drifted for half my life without finding a wise master. I wish to take teacher Gongku as my master. I hope you will grant my wish. Gongku, seeing this, blinked her eyes in confusion. Meanwhile, in the stadium, 5 deans of Imperial University sat at the front table. It turns out that this year's mentors were the 5 deans of the major schools. All of the students knew they were all going to be disappointed because the 5 deans were all here for the sole purpose of competing for EE. The freshmen didn't know the Zodiac competition was broadcast live to Imperial University's teachers, who scored them on combat IQ, practical ability, and leadership. Even without defeating a masked man, excelling in these areas earned high marks, and I was the only freshman to receive top evaluations from start to finish. But this alone was not enough to alarm the 5 deans. What truly shocked them was that I had killed the boss, Dragon Mask, who was not part of the trial's attack targets and was a guaranteed death upon encounter. That was a model trained by the Xia Kingdom's supercomputer Nuwa based on the data left by the nation-protecting level martial artist Fu Hongsheng when he enrolled at Imperial University. Although it couldn't replicate the ability of those gods' double pupils in the illusion, Fu Hongsheng was the strongest martial artist in the history of the Xia Kingdom and even the world. The record he left at Imperial University had never been surpassed in 100 years. The fact that I could kill such a divinely trained model, even if it didn't replicate the full strength of the original, was enough to prove my astonishing talent. As long as I didn't run into any trouble on my path of growth, I could at least become a grandmaster of a generation, and even challenged the senior grandmaster realm. But just then, an urgent announcement came in. Bad news, deans. He has taken the former Imperial University professor, now special personnel, Gongku, as his master. Hearing this news, the 5 deans were instantly stunned. At this moment, outside the stadium, I was shamelessly kneeling and hugging Gongku. Master, I've set my heart on you, but it seems I've already been expelled from Imperial University. Teacher, you said you can only come out for an hour or 2 a week. If you take me as a disciple, I'll find a way to get your freedom back. With that, she immediately agreed. But suddenly, the 5 deans appeared before us. Didn't you promise not to interact with students, Senior Gongku? You aren't even allowed to teach with your current mental state. Unfortunately for you, this Yi is coming home with me. Later, in the Imperial Research Institute, my master and I were walking through the halls. Teacher, you live way out here? That's right. There are incidents where I hurt people, so this is where they settled me. Lately, I've gotten more in control, so that's why they can let me out. This hallway is this narrow because I'm supposed to be the only one that goes through here. Seeing the timer on the door, Gongku began to sprint towards the entrance. If I don't get inside before the timer runs out, I'll officially become hunted by the university. Hearing this, my master and I managed to make it inside with less than a second on the clock. Behind us, the vault door slammed shut. There was even an electromagnetic field for added protection. This also meant martial art techniques would be significantly weaker here. Welcome to my confinement cell, a 3-story house filled with anything I could need. Meanwhile, at the Imperial President's office, President Shi Jinglin just received the news of Gongku being my master. He responded by telling the messenger to leave me be with my decision, since their purpose was to cultivate geniuses, allowing me to train under Gongku. Currently, it was also confirmed that I was locked inside the confinement cell with Gongku. Upon checking the stats, there was at least a 5% chance of Gongku going berserk, with a 89% chance of me dying before getting rescued. The president understood that I have already been ready to face death to train under Gongku. At least, Gongku could finally pass down her knowledge and techniques. Meanwhile, back in the confinement cell, inside the training hall, currently, we were about to spar to figure out where my current level was at. I'm ready now, Teacher Gongku. I had readied myself to face the same killing intent from earlier, but suddenly, Gongku was now charging at me at great speeds. She was aiming straight for my vitals. This was no longer just a friendly spar. In this split second, I knew that any way I dodge, she would predict it and still hit me, so I could only face this head-on with my Godzilla bloodline awakening. I blocked the vital point strike and prepared to counter-attack. Meanwhile, Gongku was amazed that I could use my bloodline awakening to achieve multiple things at once: speed, defense, and countering. But too bad, I'm still way faster than you, kid. With a strong kick, my spine and neck crumbled, and all I could do was let out a painful scream. You're really not holding back, teacher. You just knocked away my bloodline awakening. It's been a long time since I tasted blood. I can't match your physical technique at all, teacher, so I have to resort to my martial techniques. Just then, the aura of the Colossal Titan emerged. It turns out that I had already maxed out the compatibility for the Colossal Titan template last night. As your teacher, I have to match your intensity. A wave of martial energy came towards me, slicing the Colossal Titan in half, causing a big explosion. Just then, I emerged from the smoke in a new form, Founding Titan split form, Armored Beast Titan. Even Gongku recognized the danger in front of her. I charged right at her with my armored fist, but Gongku retaliated with her own martial technique. As it connected, the Colossal Titan's arm was completely destroyed. Ehe, you brat, are you hiding inside this thing's mouth? Come out already, before I make you. I activated the split form once again. With the Warhammer Titan, I managed to block her attack with bone spikes, forcing Gongku to retreat. Teacher, since your strikes are so powerful, I wonder if you can cut through this one, I said while charging up the atomic breath. I know this won't melt you, but let's see how you'll defend against it. Just then, it felt like spiky iron chains had wrapped around me. The guillotine appeared once again, and the blade was already coming towards me. Time stop, the world. Fortunately, the guillotine did not reach me in this time stop technique, but I knew that my teacher had pulled me into her killing intent domain. This was a mental illusion, and I needed to break free. My stand, the world, began to barrage the killing intent domain with a multitude of punches, managing to crack the domain with this attack, eventually shattering it to pieces. As I came to my senses, I was already laying on the ground. So you're awake now? You're quite tough, you know that? It seems like my teacher had ripped me out from my Titan form. She even destroyed the hardened defensive crystal I formed to protect my body. But teacher, you cheated just now, didn't you? I beat you fair and square. Where's the cheating in that? I may have used a bit more force than necessary, but it's hard to hold back when you're super strong like me. But I just stared at her judgingly, and Gongku couldn't keep a straight face. Okay, I won't bend the rules next time, alright? Please don't be mad. I haven't had anyone to play with in decades, but I reassured her that I wouldn't leave. I worked so hard to become your disciple. Why would I leave? Well, I wasn't crying just now. Just so you know, I've got a good sense of your strength, so we can start training now. Is there anything you want to learn? Advanced martial techniques, and how you manage to slice through lighting and even my Titan form's arm. You mean the slashing? It's hard to teach. You have to get a feel for it after cutting enough things. What do you mean by that? It's the phenomenon known as the line. Any creature has a precise point of entry, a line that can be cleanly finally severed. You can call it the kill line. I understood that my master's slash was like a butcher with perfect precision, a clean and perfect technique. To learn it, you have to become a full-fledged martial artist first. You need a solid martial foundation to learn most of my techniques. That's the difference between a martial artist and a martial disciple. You know, it's improvement of the body and improvement of the mind as well. Martial artists have a certain ability that disciples do not have. It's called inner vision. With inner vision, martial artists understand their own body and martial energy more. It can be said that a strong spirit comes first, and then comes the strength of the body. I was greatly satisfied with my teacher. Her words were profound and actually taught me something. So what's the difference in advancement methods once you reach that level? They are ranked in 4 tiers: Tiangang, Disha, Xianhuang, and unranked. Typical students only have access to unranked advancement techniques. While they are easy to use, about 80% use these to make a breakthrough, but Imperial University students start with Xuanhuang tier methods at minimum. What about the higher tiers? The Tiangang tier skills are basically sacred relics. Even our Imperial University has just one. However, you can learn a Disha tier advancement technique. I'll teach you the Killer's Bodhi Sutra. This is a Disha level cultivation method. This is what inspired your devil in the flesh technique. She snapped her fingers, and the surrounding environment instantly transformed. I was no longer in the comfortable training room, but standing in a field covered in a thick layer of blood. Around me, spectral figures of countless monsters shrieked and lunged, their eyes glowing with red malevolence. I wasn't allowed to use any martial skill or power, just the blade in my hand to fight these zombies. The point of the exercise is to let my body remember the sensation of slicing skin and splitting bone, training the muscle memory to instinctively locate the kill line. And so I finally understood the assignment. I began to move and slice all the enemies around me. Gongku was even impressed. She still couldn't believe I could withstand her killing intent domain. After the training, I was back in my dorm room, taking a bath after the tiring training session. Just then, Lu Qingzhu called my phone. She called me to let me know that the delivery I asked from her mom had arrived. I also asked if she finally met her mentor today, and she replied with, "Dean Bai." She said I had potential, so she took me in as her student. But who's your mentor? I couldn't bear to tell her that I rejected the deans, so I dismissed her question, but she continued to tell me the events of the first term. Ouyangze had formed the Dragon Blood Society. Naturally, the seniors who returned began to clash with this new Dragon Blood Society. Soon enough, there were duels between the factions, and the Dragon Blood Society lost its momentum from the losses they incurred. Currently, the most popular first year is Xiang Jianhui, a top scorer in the Imperial College entrance exam. As for Yi, no one remembers him anymore, since he vanished from the public view over 3 months ago. Time passed. Back inside the confinement room. Go faster. With each step, I'm injecting you with refined martial energy. It'll help you get used to the Killer's Bodhi Sutra, and it can also help solidify your newly broken through martial artist stage. Come on, are you tired already? You haven't even hit 1,000 yet. Who are you calling scrub? Watch me pick up the pace then. As I reached 1,000 push-ups, my body exploded with martial energy. My old worn-out muscles started to peel off, replacing them with brand new muscles charged with martial power. Alright, it's time to end this retreat. You're finally leaving? I've been holed up with you for 3 months now. I need to see the sun again. Do come back for me. Of course I will, but try to get better at video games before I return, so we can have more fun. It's been 3 months. Even if I don't love the sunlight anymore, I still miss it. However, I can't just stroll around now. There's still plenty of work to do. At the Imperial University, a key component to your grades is off-campus missions, hunting criminals, investigating secret realms, beast-tied defense, etc. So for my first stop, the Student Activity Center, to grab a mission and to reunite with my good old buddy. Long time no see. Chuzhou, you're finally come out of seclusion. You really kept me waiting this time.